Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. And this is episode 232. In this episode, we're going to recap the Thanksgiving NFL games, give our Boom Fantasy props for Sunday, and then we'll have OG on the show to talk about the loaded Western Conference, the Pacers' surprising start, and more. Hope all of you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving. This is the first show since Thanksgiving that we're doing. I appreciate all you guys.
How was your
being
Thanksgiving,
here so
bro?
early. It was good. It was
Calm?
good. Yeah, I got to spend time with my family.
Nice.
Got to see my little cousins. I was sword fighting with them and stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's nice. How about you,
I
Rick?
had a pretty good Thanksgiving.
I had an amazing time.
Yeah.
Sword. Yeah, no, I stopped, but then I was just like,
Yeah, I was
never
going to
mind.
gloss right over it.
Not real swords, obviously.
No, I know.
So what sword are we talking about?
I'm
just
very
like wooden
confused.
ones. You know,
We're
what I'm saying? Like a
58
plastic
seconds
one.
into the show.
Wooden
God.
ones.
How was yours, Rick?
Mine
You guys are
great.
sick.
Nice.
We're sick.
You guys are
I
sick.
was ready to move.
I was
I
gonna move
wasn't going to
past
say
too.
a thing. I wasn't going to say a
I'm
thing.
not in the right mindset to move on from that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my Thanksgiving was cool. You know, I just did a lot of good things to spend time with my family. It was cool.
Nice, bro.
Yeah, it felt great watching the football games and stuff. I had a talk with my cousin. I asked him about the head coaching experience and how that was and how to work through it and how to get into it. And he was like, man, listen, if you want to do it, get ready to have no life.
Facts.
Grind like from September to like May, and then like a little bit of June, a little bit of July, and so he was definitely giving
Long
me that
hours, too.
He's
you
giving me
know.
that conversation
Yeah.
7 days a week.
That's
Why was
something
he a
that
coach?
if you do, you have to really love it.
Yeah,
Was your cousin a coach?
yeah. He coached at Tulane.
Oh,
He
it's tough.
coached at St. John's.
Basketball?
Yeah, he was one of the best assistant coaches in the country.
Stuff.
I forgot the third one. We were just talking about this shit. But yeah, he coached with Chris Mullen, so he was there with him. So yeah, he told me. So I told him, oh, okay, well, not right now. Probably when I'm like 40 or some shit, or
Yeah.
35. That's when I'm really gonna like lock into
Yeah.
that shit.
You
How
know,
about you, Joe?
I'm really glad you asked about my Thanksgiving. I really am.
Here you go.
Because it started off with a bang. You know, Joel was over here gloating about being undefeated.
I'm sad you didn't pull up, bro.
It was a 9 in the morning. I'm not getting up that early.
Anyways,
Where'd you guys play at?
Carlock, yeah, in Rochester
I've been
Park.
sleeping
Oh,
at
okay.
4 in the morning recently, so I'm not waking up that early.
So
It's a good
yeah,
time.
he's undefeated, never lost a day.
lost.
Thanksgiving Day.
How much you lost by?
5 to 6.
What was
Yeah.
immaculate about it was the last drive that we had. It's 5 downs the whole field.
Mhm.
The first 3 plays, absolute duds. We didn't do shit. No completions.
Right.
Bro, 4th down. I throw the ball maybe 3/4 the length of the field. We complete the pass. Our boy Tyler Sanchez didn't have a catch all day. The very last play, 5th down, had to clutch it to win the game.
Mhm.
Touchdown.
So you guys do only 5 downs the whole
Full
field?
field, yeah.
Nice.
No
Makes
first
it
What,
down.
really
what position
hard.
does Joe play
Quarterback.
Yeah, Joel's quarterback
on
too.
defense?
We played like
Safety?
linebacker.
Yeah,
Like we usually
linebacker.
we had a lot of people there. We usually only have like 5. We played like 7
Bro,
on 7.
Going through those progressions was crazy.
it's
You
definitely
legitimately
tougher.
had to see 6, 7 people in a matter of
Yeah,
seconds.
and everyone's wearing different colored shirts and shit. It's hard to see. But Drew needed one, 3-1. He
That's
plays
all right.
he was quarterback a few
It starts-
years.
it starts-
I balled. I
You
balled.
know,
3-0 comeback.
He got his one.
I had
Yeah.
4 touchdowns. I
3-1.
How many interceptions?
had 1.
I had 2.
It's great. It's a great game.
You had 2?
I had 2.
1, but it was a
You
but
were
You can't
garbage.
judge quarterback play after that.
1, but it was a dropped pass into an interception. But you know what? I still put that on me.
2, but 5
That's good.
touchdowns.
That's good quarterback answer. That's a great quarterback response.
Zach Wilson needed that.
They
type of
take some
response.
notes. Zach take some notes for sure.
Zach Wilson needed that type of
We needed a
response.
reporter after the game.
We did.
Should have called me.
You wouldn't have came.
You know.
No.
I was actually up at 8
He's
in the
100% right. You
No,
weren't.
I was literally actually
But
up
you
at.
wouldn't have. You wouldn't have
I
came.
would have. You would have told me.
We did.
No, you didn't tell me what time. You actually never told me the time. You just said we're playing football. I was actually up that day at 7:30 in the morning. I was up helping. I was cleaning up because you only got to clean up because Thanksgiving's at our house, so we got to clean up and stuff
Tough.
like that. So I was up. I was wide the fuck awake. I was actually playing Call of Duty. So if you would have hit me like, yo, Rip, I would have been like, I could
Rip
make
is
it work.
lying.
He's lying through his
Because I
teeth.
called him that day on Thanksgiving, and I told him that I didn't go because it was at 9 in the morning. And Riv was like, oh, yeah, fuck that.
Damn, he just snitched on you crazy.
I could have made it, man. I'm telling you. I would have liked if you would have called me like, yo, Rip.
Riv loves to be invited
does.
just to tell
He
us
does.
go fuck ourselves.
Makes-
Literally.
Makes me feel like I'm special. And I was
Can't-
thought of.
You are thought of, but you never pull up.
But that's not
Just
how.
don't
How do I know I'm thought of if you don't tell me I'm
Because
invited?
every
I
other
invite
time
you
we invite
every
you.
si-
He doesn't.
That's so fucked up.
No,
and
it's
not
it's-
true.
It is true. You're racist.
Oh my god.
Strong
Here we go.
Like,
We're
you're
5
racist.
minutes into the show talking about racism and sword fighting.
Like, it's
What do you
okay.
mean, sort? Y'all are ridiculous.
You're the one who started this, bro.
No, you did.
You did.
What do you
I'm
mean?
sorry.
Wooden
How,
swords.
how the hell are we supposed to?
I'm
What?
playing with my little cousins.
That doesn't help your case, bro. That does not help your case.
Yo.
Oh.
Yo.
Okay.
No, we really did start the show grim as fuck.
Y'all are crazy,
Oh,
bro. Get
jeez.
your mind out the gutter for
It's a
me.
bunch
I
of
am-
sick guys. at the
I
table.
am crying. Wow.
Like the medieval times ones you never had.
I
those
got
before?
you. No,
Yeah,
actually,
no,
we're on the
no.
same page
Yeah, when I
now.
was like 8.
Yeah, middle of
still
times.
have
was
them
We were
fun.
fencing, basically. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Middle of times is a lot of fun
Yeah, it was. It's cool.
back in the day.
I got to be like a kid for a little bit. It was pretty fun.
Facts.
I was whooping their ass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Those shows were amazing. Very.
Medieval times.
Yeah,
they were a lot
amazing
of fun.
shows. Food was mid, but amazing.
I
shows.
always loved their food.
I think it's because we were young as fuck.
True.
So we
yeah,
just- we like-
facts.
we
if
pretty
I
much
went
liked
back
everything.
now, it's
Yeah,
probably
you
So
probably
outside of that, how
I
are
think
you
it's
guys
probably
feeling?
a turkey leg, right?
It was
Yeah.
turkey. It was like medieval food. Like
Yeah,
they try to
yeah.
make it so
You
nasty.
could only
as-
put your hands and stuff.
Yeah.
How are you guys
Feeling
feeling though?
good. Rejuvenated. Couple days off from work.
I wish I could say the
Um,
same.
No, yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah.
I feel great.
Is that a Vikings hat?
No, it's the Lakers.
Oh, you never know with you.
No, I actually knew that was a Lakers hat. Like,
Oh, okay.
if I had to guess, it would easily
Yeah.
be a Lakers hat.
I don't know. You wore a Cowboys jersey last week.
You did indeed.
It's for Ezekiel
surprise me.
Elliott.
No, you
It's my
surprised me
goat.
with that one though. I never thought you.
I love Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know why he's talking shit like he didn't know I had this jersey for months.
Yeah,
on
he's
months.
fucked up for
He's a
that.
prick. So yeah, I'm all right, man. Worked a cute 12-hour overnight shift. Took a quick nap before this,
And now we're here.
but here we are.
I feel great, man. I jammed my thumb at the gym yesterday.
What were you hitting? Or you were playing ball?
No, I was playing ball undoubtedly.
Do you lift?
No,
Never.
I go right to that gym.
Mm.
I laugh at all the people lifting because I'm not doing that. I go right to the gym.
Bro, don't you want to be swole like me?
I do, not like you, but I do want to be swole. But I
Why
just
not
don't got
like
that.
Drew?
Because well, one, we have different bodies, and two, I would be a little bit. My body is a
You're
little
petite.
bit better than his, in a
Petite.
sense. Like we had this conversation, right? That's I don't know why my body's just a little bit. It'll be a little bit. more
If you
different.
actually decide to bulk up, maybe that statement would ring true.
Yeah, but it's just I don't got that grind in me right now.
You don't got that dog in you.
Over the past couple of days,
No, I
I've
don't.
been just on YouTube searching up terms on Google. Just Zach Wilson, man. It's really been. I just can't believe what's happening right now. I've been searching up his name, looking for some greats to back him up. Kurt Warner actually, he actually backed him a little bit. I like Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner's a good
Kurt
dude.
Warner's a goat.
A good dude. He has Zach Wilson number 1 ranked. That's his quarterback coming out of college.
That's
Hall of
probably
Fame quarterback.
Well, that's probably why he's backing
Idiot.
him.
Yeah, but he was
Stupid.
just saying, Zach has his flaws, but the offense also is not helping him too much.
What about your boy Chris Sims?
Oh yeah, he's backing him up crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
I know.
He his take on the press conference debacle was that there are young players on the Jets that just talk too much, like Elijah Moore being one of them, and Garrett Wilson being another one. Like they talk too much. You know what I'm saying? That was his take on the situation for the most part.
What does that have to do with Zach?
Yeah, what is
Because after Zach gave the no answer, Garrett Wilson basically said the offense was sorry, and he was, very emotional about his response.
Garrett wasn't out of line though.
He wasn't out of line, but it did show kind of how young he is, just
Maybe
being that passionate about that.
Maybe. What are we?
And then
what are we doing here?
Elijah Moore, when he requested a trade and stuff, like that's what Chris
different.
was
Elijah,
saying.
yes, Elijah's
Elijah's different. If Zach would have said yes, the offense to blame, but instead of no, just said yes, maybe that statement has any type of backbone. But dude, what are we doing here? He said no, move on.
He did apologize to the team, per source, after the fact, a couple days after.
I have no problem with Garrett Wilson putting his heart on his sleeve, being
Yeah.
upset that the offense is garbage.
No,
'Cause
yeah,
he wasn't
I don't
pointing at
either.
anybody.
So
Yeah.
I'm not talking. I'm talking to Chris Sims.
Ooh.
What kind of statement is that? They talk too much when Zach's clearly embarrassed himself. So, but
I
we're gonna
understand what
point
you
at
mean.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
You're losing me.
Yeah, I think that it was wrong to point at Garrett Wilson, but I do understand his point because in a veteran locker room, when you have veteran receivers and stuff, the Jets this year have had a lot of younger players come out and kind of throw the team under the bus, whether it's been the OC or Zach or whatever it's been.
It's really just been Elijah.
Like,
Yeah, it's been Elijah.
Has
Yeah,
it- was
it
it
really
really
has been
just been
Elijah.
Elijah.
But
That's
did we
not
come
an
out here and
excuse.
slander Derek Carr when he was basically crying at the podium, calling out the guys in the locker room, saying that people don't give 100%?
That's
No,
different,
that's
though.
different.
No, but I'm saying in terms of Garrett Wilson,
The difference for me, and this is what Chris Sims explained too, and I kind of understand his point. Derek Carr has leeway to say that.
He does.
Fair.
He's been in with the Raiders his entire career. He's been through dysfunction. He is Las Vegas. He is Oakland. Where Garrett Wilson, he's a rookie. You know, as a rookie, you kind of have to just kind of, I guess, follow line. You know what I'm saying? Like, not be so outspoken because it could, you know, go over to the locker room.
Who's
So I
the-
understand
who's
that.
the
He's
leader-
also the best.
who's the leader on the
receiver.
Jets right
That
now?
is.
I would say right
Mosley.
now, C.J. Mosley, Quinnen, Sauce.
Like, they're all young guys, is my whole point.
Yeah, outside of CJ.
So
Yeah,
if-
CJ
no,
Quinnen
Mosley's
Yeah.
definitely
Quinnen's young, but he's a vet in the locker
yeah,
room.
facts.
He has 2 years on Wilson, right?
Who?
Who?
We're
Quinnen?
saying Quinnen has
He's
2.
been in the league for
Three.
like 5 years.
Yeah.
He's been here for a
Quinnen's
minute.
5th year.
That's
might
only-
be-
that's
Maybe it's
only-
fourth.
That's
That might
only
be
3
his
years.
fourth.
on his
Okay,
side.
I was gonna say.
I mean, Garrett just, I don't know.
And like Sauce is one of the leaders. We're talking about a rookie also.
Yeah, when
It's
you're
like
that
I have
great.
no problem
Sounds
with
like
Garrett
all the
Wilson
leaders on
talking
defense.
passionately.
I would say
That's
C.J.
true,
Uzama
yes.
is a leader in locker
Some
room too.
sense, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
there's
just, you know,
some-
like, for
I just-
example, like
the team is young. Is my
yeah.
is
For
my
example,
point.
though, like a veteran receiver would have handled the questions a bit differently. You know what I'm saying? Like a veteran receiver would have handled it a bit differently. Like I don't think Corey Davis makes those remarks, and that's what I think Chris was referring to.
But did he really say anything bad?
He didn't. He didn't say anything out of line.
He doesn't
said
say
the
anything out
offense
of
had to be
line,
better, which is
but
right.
I don't think he kept it all the way like, let's just handle it in the locker room and let's not.
You don't
let
think this
any-
is just Chris
any of
Sims
the
trying to
media get
save
something.
face for Wilson by bringing up?
No,
yeah,
definitely, I think
it
it
is.
is. I mean, he's still trying to
Like,
save
that
face for him.
statement sucks.
He's still trying to save face for him, but yeah, I just been, you know, watching.
He said this shit is not
Highlights.
okay.
Nah, it's
Kevin
not.
Did he
lie?
Yeah,
Did not lie.
It's once you point out if you say Zach Wilson's name or the
I feel like
quarterback
it's just
has
more
to
in
improve.
Wilson.
If he points out people individually, that's when it gets an issue.
with
But he
you.
said collectively
He also
we have to be
said,
better.
like, not that it was bad or anything. I'm not saying what Garrett Wilson said was bad, but just, you know, when they asked you, he's like, sorry. It's sorry.
I mean,
Yeah.
Robert Saleh, they said, how was the offense? They said it was dog shit.
Yeah, it was.
He's a
Yeah, it
coach.
was.
He can actually say
I know,
shit
but
like that.
what Garrett said wasn't false.
No, yeah.
It wasn't
It's
false.
been just more in Wilson.
Yeah.
More
Yeah,
in Zach
it
Wilson.
is. That's why, you know,
More is
just been-
hilarious.
I've been watching-
He every week. He's dead ass.
I've been watching a lot of film analysis on the game and stuff, and just seeing other people talk about it. It's been, you know, kind of refreshing. I do hope he learns from this benching in a good way. I don't know if he will, but I do hold out some hope
Find out.
for that to happen. He did say that he was sick to his stomach
Good.
after
should be.
his
I
answer.
got bench from Mike White. I'd be pissed off too, bro. I'm not
It
gonna
should have
lie.
been Joe Flacco.
It
being
should have been,
honest.
but still not good.
Super Bowl MVP, bro.
I think it's because the Jets saw what they had in Joe Flacco, and it was ugly, honestly. Of course, there was a game where you beat the
Mike
Browns,
White,
and it was
though.
miraculous, but you know what you were getting with Joe Flacco.
And Mike White was promoted to backup a month ago at this point. So if you skip over Mike White to go to Flacco, what kind of message does that send to the rest of the team?
Honestly, Mike White got the job because Saleh even mentioned this earlier, I think 2 weeks ago, that they just want to see what they have in him. That's it. So I think you Flacco, you know, with Mike White, I guess they're still, maybe he's something, you know. So I think that's what's happening there.
Probably not,
400 yards on the Bengals.
A
right?
former Jets cornerback, Lamar Jackson, actually spoke on the Zach situation. I forgot where, but he spoke on. I think you sent me.
I did, yeah.
That the locker room was clearly behind Mike White and not Zach, because Zach walks with arrogance and stuff.
I like
in
his
the
walk
locker room.
though. Swaggy.
You got to have confidence as a quarterback,
Swaggy
but
dude. Zach is very much the swaggy dude. I fuck
got to
with
be
the
careful
confidence.
between arrogance and confidence, you know?
Sometimes you just got it.
It's facts.
Alex Smith started off poorly.
Oh,
Troy
my
Aikman,
God.
Steve Young.
Jamarcus
Steve
Russell.
Young. Steve Young. You're going to put Steve Young
There's
in
just
Zach
way
Wilson.
more quarterbacks that started off bad who continue to be bad.
I actually
Better the other
hate
way
that.
around.
I know the stats show like Jamarcus and shit, like, it's similar. I actually hate that comparison for the reason is that Jamarcus Russell came into training camp out of shape.
Yeah, he
Like,
wasn't
he was
locked in.
clearly like
Imagine that.
this.
That's more bad on
Imagine
Zach
that.
than if you think about it.
Exactly.
One guy came in not in shape, and the other guy is he's ready to work, and they have the same stats.
now
But
we're just
Russell's
getting
remarkably
we're getting
talented.
mean. We're getting
Jamarcus
mean.
was remarkably talented, though. That just shows how
Nah, of
talented
course, he's
he
the number
really
one overall
was.
pick.
Yeah, I mean,
is
he was
fair.
remarkably talented.
Zach was number 2.
Yeah, but Jamarcus Russell
He was only
won
number two
last
because
national
Trevor Lawrence.
championship.
Yeah, Jamarcus
Yeah.
was definitely.
No, of course.
Jamarcus Russell was
crazy.
looked at like as a Trevor Lawrence type
Yes,
prospect
yes.
coming
Oh,
up. You know what I'm
fact.
saying? And it was like, oh, this
Didn't pan
guy,
out.
he's gonna do awesome. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bit different. That's why I just hate the comparison because I do think the difference in character is clearly there. You know, Russell didn't care. Maybe Zach doesn't care. I don't know. Who knows? But I don't think he doesn't care. I just think that he's bad. You know, at this point,
I mean,
I think
hey,
he's bad.
it's hard to argue.
So hopefully, you know, he figures it out because we need a franchise quarterback, right?
We do. Anthony Richardson.
AR-15.
Hendon Hooker. I want Hendon Hooker, not Anthony Richardson.
Hooker might be there with the torn ACL. You never know.
I love Hendon Hooker.
You love his game?
He's just such a vet. Like he's
Yeah.
such a he played a long time. He reminds me a lot of Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
Hendon Hooker. I like Hendon Hooker, man.
That's who you want us to
I do.
draft? Kenny Pickett.
He's solid. I think Kenny
He's
Pickett's
solid.
solid.
He is solid.
He'd be better than Zach Wilson.
It's not. It's Taylor Heineke's better than Zach Wilson. Like, the
I think
bar is
Kenny
so
Pickett's
low.
gonna be
Jacoby
better than
Brissett's also
Salaki.
better than
Yes.
Zach
Oh,
Wilson.
he clears.
That's a clearing.
Clears.
I like Jacoby. That's my guy.
Mariota, easy.
Mariota, yeah, probably.
Trubisky.
Yeah, I mean, we could go down the list.
Baker or Zach?
Baker.
Really?
Baker's
Case- I don't know. He's
Baker's
really
been just
bad.
as bad. I'll
Case
be honest.
Keenum.
I'll see what I have in Case. You know, see the vet.
Bro's
You seen
down
it?
bad in the
It's
dirt
gonna
right
be
now.
such a Jets thing when Zach Wilson is traded to another team and he goes to the Buccaneers or he goes to the Lions or the Falcons, and then Zach just pops
We
off.
said this 2 years ago with Sam Darnold, and it didn't happen. The exact opposite happened. He got worse.
There's a difference there.
Is there?
The biggest difference for me is that Sam went to another bad situation in Carolina.
People were looking at it as a better situation than he was in the
Was
Jets.
it a bad situation?
It was better than the Jets
No, for
situation.
sure.
I thought we thought he was
I
about
think
his
DJ
career.
when
Moore,
you-
Robbie, CMC.
Yeah, yeah.
And you
when-
just saw Teddy Bridgewater have success with them the year prior.
When you look at it from a talent perspective, you say, "Oh, DJ Moore, CMC,
Good guys.
Robbie, they're good." But from a coaching perspective, it's awful. Matt Rule just got fired.
Yeah,
Joe
but
Brady
it
got
was,
fired.
Sam was in a better, even though it wasn't a great position, it was a better position than he was with
He
the
had
Jets
Ad-
coaching
yeah, he had
staff
Adam
and
Gase, you know what I'm saying?
weapons. Yeah,
But going from shit to shit is still shit.
but I mean, let's be honest. If we look at this Jets coaching staff and offensive players right now, Zach's not in a bad position.
He's not. He's not at all. But I do think that if he was under the coaching of like Arthur Smith, it'd be a little bit different. I do. He's making Marcus Mariota a viable quarterback,
Because they're running the ball a ton. They're what, 30th in passing?
but they're also doing a lot of play action stuff and playing
Yeah.
to Marcus Mariota's
Arthur
strengths.
Smith's a goat.
He's a fine coach.
Arthur Smith changed around Tannehill,
Coming
and now
Denver.
Mariota
Send him to
is a
Atlanta.
viable starter. Like I'm just saying,
They're-
Zach Wilson at Atlanta. I'm rooting for it. I hope that we trade him to Atlanta. Gotta happen. Atlanta Falcons. And they don't have to draft a quarterback,
I was
right?
gonna say
gross
Falcons kind of screwed themselves.
by winning.
Because they can't draft a Bryson or CJ Stroud now.
You'd rather have Desmond Ritter or Zach Wilson?
Zach. Come on, bro.
That's definitely a good.
See what you get rid
See what I got
of.
with Ritter.
You're
See what I got rid of.
Let's keep it a stack.
You're
Like,
disgusting.
I mean,
what I-
maybe I don't know.
Yo,
like,
Matt Corral or
Jesus
Zach
Christ.
Wilson.
that's what I'm saying, bro. It's
You're
like all of these
disgusting.
day 2 and 3 quarterbacks from last year are teams where you're looking at Zach Wilson saying, "I'd rather have Zach." I don't know.
Yes.
Bro's hurt.
I
bro.
don't know. I
Malik
really
or
don't.
Zach?
No, Dehls is defeated.
God, Malik is still far away too. I don't
Malik.
Dehls is defeated.
Oh my God.
He's defeated.
Wait, you had Malik higher than Desmond Ritter pre-draft though,
know. Yeah, I did.
and Malik had a start. He
'Cause we
passed
saw-
for like 17 yards.
defeated.
We saw Malik. We had at least maybe Ritter has something stashed away that we didn't see in college. Who knows?
Malik Willis had like outside of the screen pass to the tight end, he had like 10 yards.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
the
also
entire game.
because Ritter was a bit of a different prospect coming out than Malik. Malik showed more
Okay.
flashes.
All right.
I know why you like Malik over Ritter. I'm just not gonna say it.
What you mean, bro?
You're saying
Ritter's
Joel
light-skinned.
has a type?
Joe has a fetish for QB.
Ritter's
these specific type of QB.
Ritter's light skin.
Yeah, but Willis is a runner. You have this little.
So Ritter's
Ritter-
fake a runner
but
too.
Willis is really like you have this little fetish that you've
That's
been
why I
showing me
want Anthony
lately.
Richardson,
That's-
bro.
Yeah, like
I
you,
like
you love
quarterbacks
these
who are
runners.
mobile,
Like,
Drafting
who
Richardson
can
with the
move.
first round
you like
pick is
running back
crazy.
slash
I never said
QBs.
first round pick.
You said you drafted him top 10.
I never said that once. We're not gonna have a top 10 pick.
Nah, no, I'm playing. You said you draft them at the bottom of the first though.
I wouldn't be completely opposed.
He's rawer than Malik Willis coming out.
He's very raw. Very raw.
Malik went in what, the third, fourth?
Third round, yeah. Who knows? Maybe
Malik
Richardson's
also not playing
second.
at Florida.
He's in that, yeah. And Anthony Richardson has started 12 career games in the SEC. little bit different than what Malik was doing at Liberty.
Some respect on AR-15's name, boy.
Your fetishes.
All right, we'll see.
Very interesting.
I want to see how you hit on quarterbacks because you claim to be this huge Justin Field truther, even though I see no track record of it.
I can back my boy. I can back him.
But
I was
he
huge
acts
Fields
like he didn't
fan.
want Zach Wilson
Because we were stuck with Zach. Joe
okay,
we
yeah.
knew for
It's very
months
easy to
before
say
the
now.
draft that
It is.
Joe
you
Douglas
like
wanted
Zach Wilson
Zach.
as a prospect, though. You did.
I know, but I liked him, but
It's okay,
I wasn't
to say
sold
that.
on him.
It's okay to say you liked him as a prospect and he didn't pan out.
I liked him, but I wasn't sold on
Where'd you
him
have
like
Fields
you were.
ranked? What you had him, like 4 or 5?
No, he was.
You didn't have him
I
over
never
Lance.
did. I never did like.
Bro,
a
he
ranking.
literally has a tweet saying that I want the Jets to draft Zach Wilson.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. I
no,
have it.
the tweet
That's what I
is
wish I
I
had my
would
old
rather
Twitter.
have it was I'd rather trade down or it was basically I don't want Sam Darnold. It's take Zach at 2 or trade down.
So why
That's a
didn't you
tweet
say
you're
Fields
referring
at
to.
2?
Huh?
Why don't you take Fields
I have
at 2?
also a tweet saying the choice of number 2 is very clear after Justin Fields' big game against Clemson.
And then you didn't have
Because
that
at
same
that
tweet.
point, that wasn't even me. That was I know what the Jets are going to do.
So if it was so clear, why didn't you in that tweet instead of Wilson say Fields?
Because we knew at 2 it was going to be Zach. Fields
Oh,
was
yeah.
not in the
There's a
conversation.
cop out for
The
everything.
thing was,
It's
Fields,
true.
Fields
was never in the conversation for
at
2.
that time, if Fields had won the national championship, do you remember me coming to you and saying if he shows out, there's conversation for him being the first overall pick? And how crazy was that to
Yeah,
say?
nah.
Because Trevor was the certified
Yeah,
lock
no one was
one.
taking Fields over Trev.
So what did you have Fields ranked? Did you have him over Lance?
I never really did a ranking,
I'm
honestly.
asking you now. Did you have him over Lance?
I definitely have him with Lawrence.
Did you have him over Wilson?
My guess is I probably had him over Lance as a prospect. Him and Zach were probably 2 and 3. I don't know which way I would have.
With how high you were on Lance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually shocking.
I definitely would have had Fields above him.
You are high.
He's been
on
high.
After last season, you didn't have Lance above
Definitely.
Fields.
He's been
Well, it's
higher.
you didn't have
because
Fields above Lance.
the situation was terrible for Fields. I didn't think he was going to be this good. Not this quick with the weapons that he
You
has.
didn't believe in him.
Sound like
I
Cap, bro?
believed in him,
Sound
but I
like
didn't
Cap,
think he'd be
bro?
good this quick.
It's
sounds
cap,
like-
bro.
sound like Cap.
No, it's okay to admit that you were wrong about Zach Wilson too.
No, but
Like, it's
you're
okay.
you're making it seem like I wanted Zach.
I think the only
You
difference.
did.
No, it was the Jet. I knew the Jets were taking Zach. So
I
when
think the only
people
difference
when
between you
people
two
were
is you just made
asking
a
me
list.
when people
His
were
list is
asking
probably
me
the
what
same
would
as
you
yours.
do, me going into the Jets front office, their decision right now is do we keep Sam Darnold or do we trade back and not?
I
You know what I
understand
mean?
what you're
So I would say,
saying.
okay, at this point, I'll take the chance on Zach because I know Darnold's not good. That's the tweet you're referring to. I have other tweets saying I would have taken Justin Fields at 2
We have tweets saying that you'd rather take Zach Wilson over 2 as well.
over 2.
Before the season.
Yes.
Okay.
You're right.
Damn.
We're switching. We're moving the goalposts now.
Okay.
He's trying to bring you down with him, bro.
I know he's not. And he tried doing the same, but the opposite shit. If Zach Wilson pops off, he said you can't come aboard.
Yeah.
Pick a side.
We've been on the topic about Zach Wilson for a while. Let's just move on. Thanksgiving, Thursday night football, just Thursday games. The Bills beat the Lions 28-25. The Bills are now 8-3. The Lions are 4-7. The Cowboys beat the Giants 28-20. Cowboys 8-3. Giants 7-4. The Vikings beat the Pats 33-28. Vikings now 9-2. Patriots 6-5. My boy Mac Jones had a good game. Kirk,
I was going to say, very impressive game
Great
from Kirk
game, yeah.
Cousins.
we thought Kirk was going to be back
Cold.
because of the first interception.
Yeah.
I saw this thing where it said that 100% of bets on Caesar Sports took Kirk Cousins over one interception.
100?
And yeah.
Yeah, I saw that tweet too.
Everybody cashed out.
Yeah.
Now, for those Thursdays games, I had a boom fantasy slip, and I was highly disappointed because I had Mac Jones over 222.5 yards. He
Lock.
had that. Kirk Cousins over 245.5.
Lock.
He had that.
Did you take Jettas that day or no?
I didn't. I took Tony
God.
Pollard over 62.5. He had 64 yards at one point. Towards the end of the game, they ran a toss.
Oh, no.
And he lost 4
Oh,
yards.
no.
And that's how I lost my slip.
Eesh.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Not everyone can have a winner.
You really do
Like
hate
me.
to see it.
Because what I put together was a masterpiece.
What'd you put?
Had Josh Allen over 249.5. That was
Fuck.
easy. Dalton Schultz 24.5.
Oh, these were favorites, right?
These were our
okay.
favorites,
Word.
yes. But I did 5 selections, so I get 3 times my money, of course. Mac Jones 199.5. He cleared
pass
that.
that.
CeeDee Lamb 59.5. Cleared that over a
man,
hundo.
hey.
And Stephon Diggs 69.5. That one was
Yeah.
dicey.
Oh, yeah, no. That first half
That one was
first half
dicey.
Was rough.
That last pass to Stephon really clutched it for
Oh,
me,
yeah.
though.
The
Yes,
last, that
yes.
50-yard throw, that was
And
nuts.
I think favorites, like if you guys don't want to be too risky with your bets, favorites is the best way to do it because it's lines that should be
Yes.
easily
Yeah,
achieved.
like you see
for the most
Drew,
part.
what was CD's at? You said
Yeah,
59.
CD's was 59.5.
Yeah, like that's CeeDee Lamb the way he's been playing 59.5. Like that's why we have favorites, long shots, toss ups. The long shots you get the big payout, but it's more risky because obviously it's a higher line you have to clear. While the favorites lesser payouts, but you're getting Mac Jones at 199.5 yards and he went off for what
320.
Yeah.
Now, just when I was watching the Thursday games, the Bills and Lions, there's really no takeaway from that because the Lions are what they are. Even though I think Dan Campbell coached a great game.
Played very well.
They did.
I don't know if the Lions are what they are though. That's a little rude.
They're okay. They're a competitive team, but we're not expecting nothing from them. I think the Cowboys showed again why they're contenders. The Giants,
absolutely.
This is the start of their losing streak. I know it's the start of the losing streak.
The Giants, yeah.
And the Vikings, I know everybody wanted to be out on them after last week. Listen, the Vikings are making their case. They're making their case.
It was a phenomenal win.
Too good of a game.
It was a phenomenal win.
And honestly, the Patriots got hosed because Hunter Henry scored.
Yeah, that was rough.
Hunter Henry scored.
That was a really bad call.
Yeah.
That was a really bad call.
He did score. That would have been Mac Jones' third touchdown pass of the game.
Yeah.
Mac Jones had an
I
amazing
think they
showing.
win that game too. I had another bet going on. I had Cowboys money line. I had Detroit +8, and then I had
saw that.
Patriots money line.
Yeah.
$50 to win like 280. And I was like, damn, the Patriots really folded on this.
Yeah.
But despite my losses that I've been having, I have a Sunday boom fantasy slip going on. I got Tom Brady over 1.5 passing touchdowns versus the Browns. I think after the bye week, Tom Brady does his thing and he gets at least 2 touchdowns. I got Geno Smith over 245.5 passing yards against the Raiders. Raiders have one of the worst defenses. Geno Smith has been a top 10 statistical quarterback. I think he'll continue to produce. And then the last one, I got 3 picks. So 3 picks to 6 times my money. Travis Kelce over 80.5 receiving yards versus the Rams. And that's my boom fantasy slip.
I like that, bro. I like that a lot.
Yeah, you can go, bro.
Okay, that's something in my throat. And
Hello.
it really hurted.
Let me clear it out.
For me, boom fantasy, you like that, right? I took Amari Cooper's yards, so I took him over 39.5 receiving yards.
Cooper's had a great year.
He's been really good. He's been underrated, getting traded like that. And I feel like people don't talk about him when they're talking about one of the best receivers in the league. He's been sneakily good for his whole career.
Sure.
Derrick Henry, over 79.5 rushing yards.
Lock.
Me and Drew talked about Chubb versus Barkley. Henry has just walked himself back into the conversation. Grown man, does what he does. Terry McLaurin, 49.5 receiving yards. I took the over.
I like that a lot. Heineke and him have a good connection.
They've been good. McLaurin was good. And after what he did, the big play slay, I got to give him some credit, give him some respect. And then my final one, Tyreek Hill, over 79.5 receiving yards. I took a safe route. Tyreek's been good all year. Runaway offensive player of the year.
Derek Stingley's not going to be healthy.
And Texans, it didn't even matter because Tua and Hen have been on fire all year, and they're playing the Texans. That's my boom.
So I went 3 long shots. I figured, I did the favorites. I won a little bread. Might as well take that winnings.
Take that risk.
Splurge a little bit for my long shots. So now my one is Tom Brady over 324.5. They're playing the Browns. The Browns secondary has been very, very lenient when it comes to passing, and I feel like Brady is bound for a good game. And that's going to pair with Chris Godwin, who I also have at 99.5. Now, Godwin hasn't eclipsed over 100 yards once this season. He hasn't. But Godwin slowly but surely has been getting more and more comfortable, more and more himself. I believe that this is the week he eclipses that. And lastly, DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones, over 69.5. He's eclipsed that number over 5 times over the past 6, which the one being this most recent against the Bills, which he had 61 and a touchdown. He's had a great game. He's been playing great of recently. This has been his true breakout, and I feel like this might be not as much of a long shot as it seems.
And
So
this
40
is
times, 40 times your money for three picks.
So you're
I
putting
truly believe
$100
it.
on it.
$100 to win
100 gets me four bands.
4,000.
And People Jones will
Hopefully
lock.
that happens.
People Jones will
Hopefully
lock
that happens.
because he's that good.
DPJ.
That's actually the one I'd probably be worried about. That one and the Chris
Jones?
Godwin one.
The
Godwin,
Godwin,
yeah.
especially because he hasn't eclipsed it
done it
once
all,
this season. But
He's been very.
he has been on a steady
respect
incline.
DPJ.
Actually,
Fournette's
I
out,
had a
too.
long shot not too long ago. I had Devontae Adams over 100. He had that. Eckler over 1.5 touchdowns. He had 2 that game. And there was Aaron Jones who needed 90 yards versus the Lions, who had one of the worst rushing defense in the NFL, and he didn't get it. I was very, very upset.
Yeah. That is upsetting. Shout out to Boom Fantasy,
Yeah,
man.
shout out to Fantasy.
Shout out
We're
to the
having an NBA
Boomster.
League Pass giveaway, so if you sign up right now, deposit $10+, you'll be entered in the giveaway.
We got to do so we did the Modern Warfare 2 giveaway. The first guy who we still have to talk to about coming on the show to talk about cards, he didn't want to play. We did a second one. He also either has Modern Warfare or doesn't play video games. So we have to do a third Modern Warfare giveaway. So if you've deposited on Boom, you're automatically entered. So don't worry about anything. We have your emails, so we'll get that. Hopefully, the next person we pick ends up either not having it or is playing video games and wants it.
Yes, sir. So when you guys make your picks, you know what to do. Add us on Instagram, add us on Twitter, and shout out to Boom Fantasy for sponsoring the Pick a Side podcast.
Sure.
Now we're going to take a quick break in the show because we have OG coming on next.
Yep, let's
and
do it.
we're going to have a lot of great basketball talk, so that's coming up. All right, after talking about some football, we now have OG on the show. OG, thank you for being on.
What up,
How was
fellas?
your Thanksgiving?
What up, fellas? What's going on? Shout out to yesterday. That was a lot of fun. I had a good time doing that. No
Yeah, it
doubt about
was.
it.
You guys
Yeah,
got
that was-
heated in that debate.
Yeah, man. When you're talking about stuff like that, it gets serious. I thought I put together a compelling argument. I mean, like I said, we can talk about Kobe Bryant from 8 to 12. You can't tell me he's the second best player in NBA history. You can't do it.
That was crazy.
You
That
can't
was-
do it.
When
He
he
had him
said
top
it,
two the other
me and Joel made a face like,
Yeah, you
whoa,
can't.
two
Top
is-
Two is crazy.
Because over LeBron James, too. Like, there's
He had
no argument.
MJ
for
one
Kobe over
or
He had MJ1, yeah. He had the same
Can't.
player, 1 and 2. Essentially, he had the same player at 1
So,
and 2.
OG, thank you for being on. How was your
No
Thanksgiving?
doubt. Well, it was good, y'all. It was good. Food and football. Food and
Can't beat it.
football.
What you ate?
I'm vegan, so I put together.
Oh.
I'm vegan, so I put together. I make a real good brown rice dish with a lot of green peppers. Not green peppers. I'm sorry, green beans, black beans, some soy. It's really good.
Vegan. What made you go vegan, OG?
What made me go vegan was I was exercising a lot, and years ago, if you tried to tell me that I couldn't have a bacon cheeseburger, I'll put you in a sleeper hole. This wasn't happening. But I was exercising, and I just wasn't feeling the way I thought I should feel. I mean, I was trying to figure out what the problem was, and I ended up watching this documentary. It was on Netflix called What the Health? And I saw what, meat was doing to people. And I thought to myself, well, let me give this thing a try and let me see what it is. Well, it turns out I started doing it, and I ended up losing over 20 pounds. My cholesterol went down like 70 points. And this is the best that I've felt since I was in college.
Nice.
How long you been a vegan for?
This last August that just passed is 2 years. So
Nice.
it's almost 2.5 years
Yep.
that I've been vegan. So I'm on the hook.
In honor of Thanksgiving,
I'm convinced. I'm going vegan.
we
Yeah.
are each
No more
at
McDonald's.
this table going to give 3 things we're thankful for this NBA season.
Yep.
Riv, I'll start with you. You have your list out.
All right, so the first thing I'm thankful for is Cam Reddish finding a home and becoming relevant in basketball.
Love that for you.
I've been waiting for this for so long, and him being in New York, being their best defender by far on the wing, just finding his home, being a little bit more efficient, just playing good basketball. And I've been waiting for that for a long time. Number 2, SGA finally getting the recognition he deserves. He's been on this trajectory for
Absolutely.
2 or 3 years.
What are you looking at?
No, listen. We're good. We're fine. We're good. And just everybody's starting to understand how talented SGA is and how dominant he is when he's in that full force. And him making OKC as competitive as it is not many can do. Maybe prime LeBron can do that shit. This team isn't good. SGA is keeping them on track.
Him and Luka tied for most 30-point games this season.
Tough.
With 13.
SGA is playing like a superstar.
Steph's at 12. And number 3,
Let's talk about him.
Steph.
Talk about him.
Just not declining, just getting better as a basketball player. He's just almost an anomaly. Not many 6'3" guards at almost 35 years old can still move the way he can move, shoot the way he can shoot at this age. I mean, we look at guys with longevity, LeBron James, Chris Paul, Mike Conley to a degree, Kyle Lowry to a degree. These guys have kept their longevity at hand. And Steph Curry is
Tucker?
walking into that
Aaron Thomas?
conversation. He does nothing. Steph Curry's just a great player. So for me, that's my top 3 things I'm thankful for.
PJ Tucker was locking up.
He had 0 points in 3 games.
4 games in a
Plays
row.
defense.
Almost 4 games in a row.
He's 38.
Credit to him. He's still starting.
to
I
him.
mean, he
That's
started his career like 28, realistically.
I guess. Respect PJ Tucker.
I
So,
don't.
so I only have 2 things that I'm grateful for. I figured there's definitely places I could have gone, but let me keep it on brand to me. Number 1, what I'm grateful for, King James, year 20, being able to say that we get to watch him for a 20th year in a
We
row.
or you?
Listen, we as a unit need to be grateful that he's playing basketball because once
I'm
he's
in that
gone,
boat. I'm in that boat with. I'm in that
Of
boat.
course
with
you are.
because once he's gone, we're gonna
We
miss.
will.
We're
We
gonna
will.
miss the
Appreciate
king.
greatness.
You do.
Appreciate it while it's here.
I'll be all right.
Regardless of whether the play is there or not that we've seen from LeBron throughout the entirety of his career, we got to be grateful. And what I'm grateful for is Anthony Davis.
I knew you were gonna say AD.
Returning to superstar level, and I made sure I used the word superstar because OG, I actually saw a video of you recently saying that AD is no longer a superstar. OG averaging 26, 57% from the field. The free throw is falling, 83%.
I'm surprised you didn't say Ben Simmons.
Leading the league. Well, we'll see. I still got to see that.
Okay,
all right.
okay.
It's
You
been
wait a
it's
little
been a
bit?
good. It's been a
Okay.
good span of games. Let's just wait.
Okay.
Again, AD 57% from the field, leading the league in rebounds. That was a big issue too. Can AD get back to being efficient on the boards? He's tied for the first right now. He is third in blocks. He averages almost 2 steals a game. One of the best, arguably the best defensive player in the league right now.
And with all of that being said that you just said, with all of that
Here we
being
go.
said, are we having this conversation a month ago?
Hey, listen. A lot
That's
of
a yes or
slander-
no question.
A lot of
That does
slander.
not involve an elaborate answer.
OG,
A
you know,
month ago, are we having this conversation
OG,
at
a
80?
lot of slander has been put on Anthony Davis's name, and all
That means
he's done,
I mean,
is come in and quiet the noise.
we can acknowledge he's playing great without calling him a superstar again. To
All
be
right.
fair.
Or let's take it a step further than that. Maybe he's playing himself back into superstar
Facts.
form. Is that fair?
Very fair.
OG, I'm sorry. Was this clip from a while ago or is this recent? I'm honestly curious.
That AD was not. The clip you saw with Anthony Davis, that was way before what he was doing.
I
Right now.
apologize because I saw
Yeah,
this
that-
yesterday and I saw
Yeah.
it and I was dumbfounded.
That was like two, maybe 3 weeks ago that we did that.
Hey, then
that
I-
was not. No,
then I
that was
apologize,
not,
OG.
No, that was not like 2 days ago. No,
I should have used context there because I do
Yeah.
apologize. I saw
That
it
was-
yesterday. I thought this was a recent clip, and that's why I had to bring
that
it
was
up because
that was
I know
weeks
you,
ago.
OG. I know you know better, which is why I had to bring it up.
Yeah.
I know you know
I
better.
think the better question is we're gonna have this conversation in 2 months, not a month ago.
Even next month,
Do you understand what he's doing right now? Because the three's not falling, and even
it
still,
won't fall.
That's fine.
But it's
Because he's
fine.
actually knocking down his free throws. This is the
is good.
highest percentage he's been at since what,
what was
2020?
the problem with AD? We just want to see some consistency.
Which
That's
is what he's been doing and then some.
all. Which is let's
And we're winning games.
let's keep it going. That's all we're asking
And
for.
we're winning
Let's keep it
games.
going. You don't
There are
become a
more
superstar
players.
in 5 games.
There are probably 10 plus players I'd rather start my team with than Anthony Davis at this point.
Which makes sense because of the injury
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
That's not
Age,
a that's not a
Can't shoot.
that's not a disrespect to AD's name.
Yeah.
It's not.
not,
There's
it's
a-
not, it's not.
It's a great
It's a long
league,
way from where we
and
were a
he
year ago.
Is an
It was like
injury-prone
15, 20
guy.
guys
Yeah,
last year.
no,
so.
he's cutting it down.
Yeah,
He's playing at an all NBA
definitely
level
cut
for
it
sure.
down.
But that's never been in question. AD at 100% is still one of the best basketball
But
players.
who's playing
in the
better
world.
right now,
Agreed.
John Moran or Anthony Davis?
Anthony Davis.
Yes, I mean Anthony Davis has been
I
all
don't
world
think
on
that's
both sides of the court.
That's a tough conversation to have.
And that's not obviously we're talking about Ja again, one of the other best players in the world. You just can't discredit what AD's doing on both sides.
Understand. I'll move on to mine unless you have any more
Nah,
talk about
man,
Anthony
listen,
Davis.
like,
we can
I
talk
had
about
to-
AD
I'm
all
asking
day.
again in a
How do
month
you-
about
you
Ben
know.
Simmons. I'll ask him again in
Ben
a month.
Simmons?
Yeah.
I mean, number one, you guys know who I'm most grateful for. Boston Celtics. I
thought
mean,
you were
come
gonna
on.
say Tatum.
Boston Celtics, Jason
you were
Tatum.
That's giving me. I thought it was gonna
JB
be- break it
JB
down.
having a career year, points per game, free throw percentage, effective field goal percentage. I mean, JB's. I said all NBA. I got laughed at here. You know, he's averaging 26 right now.
It's
got
still
some way
might
to
be
go,
laughable.
Wait,
but
Jaylen Brown?
It depends on,
laughable.
we always because we said
Enough.
it depends on what he
Laughable
is.
is crazy.
What are we
It
doing?
depends on what he
Laughable is
is.
crazy.
Is he a guard? Because he might not make it as a guard.
Laughable's crazy.
No, it is
well,
literally-
No,
he
'cause
can
all-
be put at guard
the
or forward. You know how
Jaylen
you know
Brown
how
is
it is.
not
You know
how
what
it
talking
is.
about
If,
here.
he,
You know
if,
how it
if
is.
he's a guard, he's not making All NBA.
I just got laughed at. And he's
Wait,
having
hold on,
a
hold on.
career year.
This was
He's
this
having a
is
career year.
supposed
At
to.
26 a game on the best team in the NBA,
And
he's
he-
not an All NBA performer. Is that what you're trying to tell us,
I
Rick?
got laughed
No,
at,
wait,
OG.
that what you were trying to
I
tell
got
us?
laughed
wait,
at.
wait, wait,
I got laughed at.
wait, because we not about to spin what I'm about to say. No,
That's what it sounds
no,
like
no.
you're saying. So straighten us out.
No,
And Joel too. Don't think you're out of the woods here too.
There's more guards that are going to be all NBA.
No,
than
we
Jaylen
we
Brown.
all we said was if he's a guard, we don't think he's gonna make All NBA because there's
won't.
locked spots for the guards. Right, you got Trey,
Right.
you got Ja, you got Luka,
Steph.
you got Steph. Like there's
You got Devin Booker.
That's already five.
You
That's
got
already
SGA.
5 guys locked. That's all we said. We said if he's a forward now, he can get in. We've seen guys sneak in like Siakam, Jimmy
Well,
Butler.
you see
He
how
can-
they do the guard
That's
forwards.
why we said we don't know. They classified
You see, I
JB.
know.
They classified DeMar as a guard, so we
That-
don't know.
that's what I'm saying.
So we don't.
I
That's
got
why
laughed at.
when you get the All NBA, we're like,
I'm
well,
grateful
what is he,
for him.
What is he classified?
I'm grateful.
He made All NBA
Thankful,
last year.
sorry.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Was he third team? I'm honestly asking.
He might have been 13. No, Trey Young was
CP3.
13. I think
They
Chris Paul
both
was
weren't?
13. I think Chris Paul was 13.
Regardless, he's having a great season. JT's
is.
having an MVP level season. Boston Celtics, best team in the NBA right now. You touched on it a bit with SGA, these young stars who are all breaking out. We have SGA, Tyrese, who we're going to talk about in a little bit, Tyrese Haliburton, and then the rookies, Benedict Mathurin, and Paulo.
Out. He's broke out already.
Well, he's
emerged.
Entered a new level, I should say.
Yeah.
And then lastly, which you got to hear me out, the Brooklyn Nets. I'm grateful for the Brooklyn Nets because they gave me a big W early in the season over my good friend Joel right here. We had a Celtics versus Nets debate for it seemed like the entire offseason. So I'm very thankful for them for all of the, just complete and lack of wanting to play basketball together, not being focused on basketball, all the off the court issues, the Steve Nash firing, just the they have no idea what they're doing over there in Brooklyn. So I'm thankful for them for giving me that W early in the season.
Just a reminder, Dehls, Thanksgiving is a time we're supposed to be grateful, thankful. It's supposed to be positive stuff. That's why I didn't like this argument here. Let's appreciate the players and the play that's going on right now. This is what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the Sacramento Kings. Second in offensive rating. I think this year they end their playoff drought. I like the Kings. They're one of the funnest teams to watch. Whenever they're on, I watch the Kings. I love De'Aaron Fox's game. He's playing at a awesome level. When we talk about Tyrese, I'll mention Fox there too, just because he's been that great. The second thing I'm grateful for and thankful for, the Bulls struggling.
I'm thankful for the Bulls struggling. We're keeping it positive.
Oh, because this goes hand in hand with what I'm about to say next. The Knicks and Wizards are higher than the Bulls in the standings. So I'm grateful for the Knicks' mediocre play.
This is nasty
because
work.
The Bulls, I said before the season, listen, they're stuck in the mud. They're trapped in quicksand right now. There's no way up for the Chicago Bulls. And the Knicks are playing better right now. They're higher in the standings. Riv and I have a bet about the Wizards and Bulls, not even the Knicks and Bulls. And the Wizards are looking like they're going to finish higher in the standings than the Chicago Bulls. So I'm thankful for their struggles as well. So I will put my hater cap on. But at the same time, I am appreciating them. I'm appreciating the Wizards
I was
and
appreciating the Celtics for being better than the Nets, that if anyone had a brain would have known.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And the third thing I'm thankful for, and this is just positive, the parity in the NBA right now. In the Eastern Conference, we kind of know that the Celtics and the Bucks are the top two teams in the West. I mean, in the East, but in the Western Conference, there's so much parity, and I feel like this is the first time that the West has been this wide open. I think there's so many teams I can see making it to the finals out of the West.
Know, bro.
To the finals?
Yeah.
Told you.
The conference, the Western Conference Finals or the NBA Finals?
The NBA Finals.
Define a lot of teams.
Do you have a clear-cut team right now after a month that you could say that's a finals team?
In the West?
In the West, no.
In the West, there's no favorite.
I was going to say, you can't say that there's a definitive team, but can you
There
say
is. There's a favorite.
How
There's
many
a favorite.
teams? How many teams did you say?
He didn't give a number.
He's going to give a
But
number.
I think you have
we'll talk about
definite-
it. Next topic is the Western
yeah,
Conference. So we'll talk about
facts.
it.
All right,
I'll
so
say
just- all right,
the favorite
give me a
right now,
preview.
the favorite in the West right now should be the Nuggets.
How many teams do you have that can make the NBA Finals?
Hold that thought. We're going to get to that.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to
sneak
spoil
preview.
it.
I know you want that. I know you want that.
I think we all
Just
want
give
that.
me a number.
No, don't give
dissected
him a
them
number.
into
Don't give
tiers.
him a
You don't
I
have
number.
to tell me
dissected
the
them into
Don't
tiers.
give him a number. Just wait. Just
Bro.
wait.
So, OG, what are you thankful for?
At the top of the list is health. I think that it's awesome that we actually get to see these guys. I'm very happy that Zion Williamson is playing.
There we go.
And he can get back. He could get back to what he was 2 seasons ago, where we saw 26-7 on 60% shooting, right? And he's been a plus for them. I think they over 500 since he's been in the lineup.
Yep.
Anthony Davis, who we just got finished talking about, the fact that I think he's 33-15, and they've won 4 of their last 5 games. And I always felt like Anthony Davis, barring any health issues, he was arguably a top 5 player, definitely a top 10 player, barring any health issues. So I'm digging the fact that he's doing what he's doing, and they're actually giving him the dominant space on the floor, which was the original plan from the beginning.
Absolutely.
That's why they got him. James started to break down in 18-19. You bring Anthony Davis in. I'm going to play off you. It was working. They won the NBA championship, only except Anthony Davis broke down. Then James had to get the dominant space back. Only James is figuring, I'm too old for this, man. This is why we brought you here. Well, they bring AD back, and he's starting to look like who he was a couple of years ago, and I'm really digging that. And lastly, Rev brought him up, and Shea Gildress Alexander out in Oklahoma City. Now, here's the thing, Rev. The thing that I'm concerned about is, okay, the timeline now has to get pushed up because we're in year 4 now, right? And this guy is becoming an elite player in the NBA. So now the fact that he's becoming what he's becoming, we got to start developing more players and get better players around him, because we can't waste any more of his years. We can't go, okay, he's 24, he's getting better, but we're still having C and D players around him. No, the timeline's now been pushed up that we got to start getting better players around him so he can start winning more.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no doubt. With that being said, let's move on to the Western Conference. I think this is going to take a large portion of the show just because there's a lot of teams in the West to talk about. I feel like the West is as wide open as it's ever been. The difference between the 12th seed and the first seed is a 3-game difference. In the Eastern Conference, that's the difference between the 3rd seed and the 1st seed in the East. In the West, it's a 12th and the 1st. OG, I want to get your thoughts on the Western Conference first. What do you feel about it? Do you think there's a clear-cut favorite? And do you think it is wide open?
When you think about, I went back 20 years. So the 2000-2001 season, you had 7 teams of the 8 playoff teams win 50 games. But with that being said, we all knew that the road to the NBA championship went through Los Angeles because Shaq and Kobe were there. As good as San Antonio was, right? As good as Dallas was, as good as these teams, as good as Portland was, we knew that the road to the NBA championship, it went through Los Angeles. I'm looking at what's going on right now with the NBA and the Western Conference. I can't tell you which team I think is going to win the Western Conference. I mean, like he just said, we got a separation from 2 to 11. I think it's 1.5, maybe 2 games. Yeah. So you can have a bad week and you can go from hosting a playoff series to being in the lottery. Add that to the fact that we don't even have one specific team. I always felt like before the season started, I felt like the road to the NBA championships goes through Golden State. Only except as good as they've been at home, where they're 9-1. They've been equally as bad on the road. They've lost 9 of 10 games.
Yeah, it's like
so
opposite.
I can't
Literally.
I can't say with 100% certainty that I love Golden State coming out of the West. Same way I feel about Phoenix. As good as Phoenix is, we've seen them go to pieces in the playoffs. So Denver is still getting themselves healthy with Jamal Murray, who I'm also thankful for that he's actually healthy and he's looking better. But am I sold on Memphis winning the Western Conference Championship? I am not. The Clippers, me and Rib went at it about these guys about a month ago, and we already seen what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, both Leonard and Paul George are out indefinitely. So the entire Western Conference, I can't really put my finger on one team and go, that's the team that's going to represent the Western Conference, as opposed to 20 years ago when I saw the Lakers, as good as everybody else was, I saw the Lakers going, if you're trying to get to the NBA Finals, those are the guys you got to go through.
I agree. A similar comparison I would make also is the 2010 Western Conference, where 8 of the teams that made the playoffs won 50 games or more. Yeah. You had the Lakers at 1 with Kobe Gasol, the Mavs at 2 with Dirk, the Suns at 3, Steve Nash and Amari, the Nuggets with Carmelo, the Jazz with Boozer and Darren Williams, the Blazers with Brandon Roy and Aldridge, the Spurs with Duncan, Ginobili and Parker, and then the Thunder at 8 with a young KD, Westbrook there. I've basically put the West into different tiers, and I've named them, right? So the contenders in the West for me, the Nuggets I think are contenders. I think they can make it out the Western Conference for sure. A healthy Clippers team, and that's a big question mark. But if they're healthy, I put them in that contender bracket as well. And then the Warriors, if they get a better bench. I think if the Warriors make one move that can strengthen their bench, they can be right up there again because their starting lineup is the best in the NBA. It's their bench that's been the biggest problem. Then the next tier I have is if everything goes right, I can see it. First team is the Pelicans. If everything goes right, I can see it.
I'm glad to see that.
I can see them doing it with CJ, Zion, BI. They have the right combination of wing defenders. They have Jonas who can play through the post. They have a lot of versatility. And I don't see a team in the Western Conference that for a 7-game series can hold off Zion, get into the basket.
That's a fact.
Outside of maybe Memphis, that would be a bad matchup for them.
Okay.
The Suns, I can see it. What's holding me back with the Suns is just Chris Paul's age. And do I really trust Cameron Payne? I don't. And that's why if everything goes right, I can see it. The Grizzlies.
He's actually been better, though, Joel. He's actually been better.
Yeah, he has been better.
Cameron Payne has been better, but keep going. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry.
And then
CP3's absence.
the last team I have in this tier is the Memphis Grizzlies. You get Desmond Bane back, Jaren Jackson's healthy, Ja Morant. They have a great bench. We've seen them give the Warriors fits before Ja Morant got healthy in the playoffs. I think they're that team that's young, and they've been waiting to ascend. They got the experience last season. I can see it. So, my pseudo-contenders and contenders altogether would be 6. But then I have rugged playoff teams, which they can give any team in the playoffs a run for the money, and it'll be a competitive series. I think the Blazers are there with Dame healthy. The Mavericks, just because they have Luka. and the Sacramento Kings. I think the Sacramento Kings are just a really great offensive team. And if they can figure it out somewhat defensively, it'll make them a bigger force. Then I have a tier with one team.
Oof, dude.
Then
You need, if you're gonna do this, to just have the Wolves by themselves. Just put them.
I was just about to say, because you already out on Minnesota. Are you out on them?
This is the tier I have. I said figuring it out. The T-Wolves. They're figuring it out.
They have been.
No, that's why I have them here. They're figuring it out. I have them in their own tier. Will eventually make a move to get worse. The Jazz are there. And then no man's land is the Lakers. And the lottery, Rockets, Spurs, Thunder. Those are my tiers.
Where the Jazz?
Will eventually make a move to get worse.
And
so you don't have them in.
And that's low key where the
I don't have them in.
Warriors could turn up.
And where the Wolves, once they do figure it out, which tier do they fall into?
Rugged playoff team.
Okay. So they're not round contenders.
Right now, with how they've been playing, I don't trust them enough. But I have them in that. If they figure it out, they're a rugged playoff team.
The Lakers do have a direction. It's wherever Anthony Davis takes them.
That's it.
That's not.
No doubt about
That's
that.
the answer.
I just don't know if I want him to.
I view the Lakers in no man's land right now because
a little bit.
you do have AD playing well, but despite how great he's playing,
we're winning games
with an easier schedule that you guys been having.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, but I just don't trust
Hey, you play
Anthony
schedule.
Davis. I don't trust Anthony Davis' health for the entire year.
That's facts.
LeBron has already gotten hurt, and the roster's just bad. It's just all around. It's a bad roster.
I hate to say you're wrong, but you're right.
So altogether, I have 1, 2, 3, 4,
some
5,
respect on
6,
Lonnie
7.
Walker, though.
I have 7
thankful for
tiers.
him.
I have 7 tiers in the West. It just, for me, with how the Wolves are playing right now, it didn't make sense for me to put them with a rugged playoff team.
See, you said it perfectly. They're figuring it out. They started off as bad as you could be for the expectations that everyone had on them, but slowly but surely they've been playing very good basketball.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards is starting to find himself. Cat and Gobert are starting to finally get comfortable with one another. The pieces around them are starting to find their role. D'Lo, slowly but surely, is just not playing anywhere near as bad as he was to start the season. The Wolves are going to be okay.
I mean, they just won 5. They just won 5 in a row.
It's
I
like
mean, they lost yesterday.
The Pacers,
they won 5 in a row.
The Pacers were cooking. They met the Wolves. The Wolves handled them in Indiana.
We'll talk about the Pacers, but I do think the Pacers have benefited tremendously from a very light schedule.
So you have 6, just so I don't like.
No, it was
6 teams that can make the finals in the West.
6 teams that can make the finals.
That I feel like as of right now,
I'll
I feel
tell you what,
confident.
I think you
they
were
can-
generous
right.
with the Clippers.
Yeah,
I was shocked to hear them in that tier.
because if they're healthy, you have to put them different.
sure.
Because
Yeah.
if you're putting the Clippers there, but then the Suns are in that next tier underneath, that's where I'm kind of there's a little
The
disconnect.
Suns have a great system, and that's why they've been able to plug and play whoever, and they've been able to win games still. But in the playoffs, you need stars.
Because listen, this is coming from someone who I was very low on.
and
Phoenix
D Book
coming
is
in.
the only star in Phoenix.
That's
I'm gonna disagree.
6 is a lot, man. 6
It is. It
6.
seems like the West right now makes things more interested for those tier 2 and 3 teams rather than that top of the tier. I don't know. 6 feels like a lot to me. I still have faith in the Warriors figuring it out. And you have the Clippers, and you had the Warriors in the first tier, right? And the Clippers as well, just because of the talent with the Warriors, just the history there. But it makes things more interesting with those tier 2 and 3 teams like the Grizzlies, the Pelicans. I know you've had some of these in tier 1, and the Mavs, who coming into the season, we didn't really have them in that championship contender. But with the West being so open, especially if the Warriors are going to struggle, because coming in, it seemed like the Warriors were really that one team that you could look at all the other teams in the West. You give them a couple games here and there, but we didn't really have any team, maybe the Clippers if they could say 100%. But if the Warriors are going to be, their bench is going to be this bad, and as OG and Riv, you mentioned, they're going to be this bad on the road, then it makes these second-tier teams have a chance and say, you know what, we can make a move at the deadline to put us over the hump, whether that is getting to the Western Conference Finals or eventually the Finals.
The Mavs just have no roster outside of Luka.
Yes, but I mean, and you know how I feel about the Mavs, but even still, if the West is more open this year than it was last year, if they're not going to run to a juggernaut in the Warriors how they were.
Joel, and my question to you, Joel, is why you keep bringing up the Clippers? What kind of evidence have they given you to suggest that these guys are a contender? What have they done for you?
If I can rebuttal that and to ask this question, what have the Suns shown us in the past 3 years to convince us that they're going to the finals?
They made the
They
finals.
went to the NBA Finals. How about that,
I'm talking
Riv?
about after that, though. Like I'm talking about after that. The year after that, they just
Luka
got
was
bounced.
playing otherworldly basketball, and not
That
that
can
that's
happen
an
again.
excuse. It's not an excuse because they should not have lost the way that they lost.
No, they shouldn't have.
Luka was playing an exceptional
Chris
level.
Paul's getting older.
Monty got outcoached, and I think Devin Booker wasn't able to handle double teams well. I think he's worked on that.
Chris
part of
Chris
game.
Paul's getting older. DeAndre Ayton, we can agree, isn't going to be that player this year. You know what I'm saying? It's just Devin Booker. You know, their depth is okay.
DeAndre
It's not
Ayton's
as
been
good.
playing solid though.
No, but I'm saying he's not gonna be like that number one pick
And
talent.
also, I'll say that
You don't
Dallas.
need him to be that.
I think you do when Chris Paul's getting older.
If you want to go to the
That
finals,
I feel you, but they have just a solid all around team. We can't
They
forget.
have their system is one of the best systems in the regular season. But I think when it comes to playoff time, like when we talk about like it's November, right? So when we talk about seeding and stuff like that, a lot of teams look good because a lot of their systems fit for the regular season.
Utah?
But when it comes playoff time and you get to sit there and actually coach and you actually get to game plan for a team for 7 games. How many of these teams do we actually trust is what I'm asking. Because there isn't 6 teams that we trust
How many do you
for a
trust?
7-game series.
How many do you trust the Clippers?
I trust Ty Lue.
All right. Do you trust the Clippers?
I don't trust him because of health.
Okay, thank you.
That's a big
I
thing,
just
though.
wanted you to
Yeah,
stay
I don't
consistent
trust- I
there
don't
because
trust
you
them 'cause
can't
of
trust the Suns because you think that's
I don't trust the
regular
Suns
season
because
thing.
of their ability.
But I just want you to
But
stay
Clippers 'cause
consistent.
of health,
All right,
yes, I
so
don't trust the
how many
Clippers.
teams do you trust? Is there a team to trust?
The Pelicans are a wait and see.
I
'Cause
respect that.
They're a wait
Yes,
and see.
I'm with
the
you.
Timberwolves also a new team, wait and see. Memphis, I will have to say I trust them a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I trust them a little
Yeah.
bit.
I trust them a lot of it.
No,
I
because
trust them a little bit.
because
Memphis
OG,
is like that.
that's one of those when you were going through your spiel, you were saying, I don't know if I can trust Memphis.
And
What does Memphis do that makes you think I can't trust this? Ja goes
Well,
out, we're still winning games.
Desmond Bane
goes
keeps playing like this, I
Facts.
can
That's-
trust him a
that's
lot.
fact.
And
Jaren
I'm
Jackson's
glad-
come back and he's been playing very good basketball.
I need him to up that
and
3-point
well,
percentage.
well, the prime example would be what happened last year in the playoffs. I mean, if Ja was able to stay healthy, I think they got a better shot against Golden State. Add that to the fact that earlier in the season, I mean, he broke down for a month.
Yep.
Which would explain why I can't trust him, because at some point Ja's going to break down and it's going to be detrimental to his crew. Now I can appreciate the logic that they've been winning without him, but when we get to the playoffs
We need
where
him.
I can only scheme for you, add that to the fact that I'm taking out 27, 28 a game out the lineup. Do we have nobody else to cover that? That next man up logic? Well, that next man up logic only works in certain areas.
Yeah,
We
regular
don't
season.
have an answer for losing 28 a game for 3 weeks. Or we don't have an answer for losing 27 a game for 2 games in the playoffs, because those 2 games could basically mean the series. That's what explains why I don't trust Memphis as much as other people do.
It's like last year we knew that Golden State Warriors matchup was going to be tough for the Grizzlies. But now we're in 2022 and we're sitting at this table coming to a consensus. There's no team that really is clear cut. So
we also knew it reversed though. We knew Memphis would be the toughest series for the Warriors.
Very well said. But now we're here in 2022, and what team do we feel that the Grizzlies can't go in and beat right now? I feel like there's no team I look at and think that the Grizzlies can't beat outside of maybe the Nuggets, because a healthy Nuggets team is
It's all
one
about
that
matchups.
correct. Correct.
Yeah, so
And that
mean,
Nuggets team is a tough matchup for them.
I agree.
I still feel like the road to the NBA Finals goes through Golden State, but the way that they've
That's
been playing
respect.
on the road,
Yeah.
they look like, they could be a first-round exit, because they can have a team come into their building and get a game, and we've seen how they play on the road, because after their first 5, let's call it what it is. They are garbage. Let's call it what it is.
No,
They
yeah,
are the worst. I believe they're the worst team in the league defensively. They're the worst rebounding team in the league.
Yes.
Kuminga has not developed as much as I would like to see him develop. The Golden State Warriors got me out here thinking that James Wiseman can't play. They got me for real thinking that this dude can't play. I don't know if that's
He
true or
been
not,
killing in the G
but
League.
they got me thinking that this dude can't play.
But I'll say to that first. I'll answer your question about the Clippers. The trust I have in them really circles back to 2020 when they made the Western Conference Finals with Kawhi getting hurt.
2021.
Yeah.
2021, yeah, 2020, 2021, whatever. So that's why, to me, I say if you have Kawhi Leonard, you probably beat Phoenix. So my trust is only in their health, and I don't even trust that. So I only have them as contenders if they're fully healthy and they're ready to go for the
Understandable.
playoffs.
Yeah.
But I don't believe the Clippers are making it out the West. I'll say that right here. I don't think they're going to make it out the West. To me, the favorite right now that I would pick would be the Nuggets.
Yep.
I think the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon has been playing tremendously defensively.
Very
Jamal
good.
Murray's only going to continue to figure it out. MPJ is one of the best spot-up shooters in the league. He is improving as a defender. Nikola Jokic is the best center in the league by far. And KCP adds a different dimension defensively they didn't have in years past. And you look at their bench with Bones Holland and Bruce Brown, I'm really infatuated with the Nuggets. And to speak on the Warriors, they just need to make a move, because the starting lineup is the best in the NBA. But when you get to the bench, they have to blame themselves for this, because you let go of Otto Porter, of Bielitsa, of Gary Payne II, even JTA, even though he
That
didn't
one
contribute
hurt.
much.
To get GP, that hurt.
So
that one hurt.
You're now going from veterans to trusting a bunch of young players. James Wiseman, maybe in a different system, he'll look better. But to this point, statistically and according to the analytics, he has been one of the bigger detriments to any teams winning. Thus far in his career as a rookie, he was horrible. Right now, he's horrible, and that's why he's in the G League, because he has proven not to be a serviceable NBA player. Moses Moody hasn't figured it out yet. Jonathan Kuminga is having growing pains. The only players I trust off the Warriors bench is Anthony Lamb and Dante DiVincenzo. So if they can make one more move,
I'm gonna be honest. I can't watch Anthony Lamb for a 6-game series. I'm just sorry.
Yeah,
it just can't happen.
Yeah, you trust him in
I'm
the regular
sorry.
season.
Can you handle it, Rev? Rev, can you handle it?
No, I won't watch it.
got
I'm
Bruce Brown,
sorry.
bro.
I will tune that shit out. He cannot be on the court for a 7-game series. No, DiVincenzo, yes.
Yeah.
Poole, you just have to. He gets paid $30 million.
that's why.
Lamb, no.
Jordan Poole off the bench too.
Yeah.
That's why I think if the Warriors can maybe trade for a starting caliber center like a Jakob Poeltl and now have Kayvon Looney off the bench, I like what the Warriors are building, and Jakob Poeltl gives them rim protection.
Kelly Olynyk could be cheaper than Jakob
Fuck that. What do you mean Kevon Looney off the bench?
Jakob Poeltl is a better player than
Yeah,
him.
but
But
you wouldn't
Kevon
put Looney on the
defensively,
bench.
that's facts.
No.
Kevon defensively has been.
It's not even that. He
Jakob
just
Poeltl is a better defender.
No,
than,
he is
than
a better.
Kevon
But
Looney.
Looney knows the system.
Correct,
You wouldn't
he
put him on
does.
the bench.
All right, I guess,
Yeah,
but I'm
respect
just
Looney.
from a talent
Nah,
perspective,
but
he's better than Kevon
he
Looney.
is, but respect Looney. He's starting.
But even if you can have a bench of Jordan Poole, DiVincenzo, Anthony Lamb,
that's the ideal.
Jakob Poeltl, I think that's good.
You probably give up a first for Jakob Poeltl, I'm assuming. I feel like for Kelly, it's such a cheaper price tag, and Kelly's going to do a job for you.
Kelly gets paid what?
He's got playoff experience
And I only
too.
the Spurs
Pirtle's
are,
at 8.
the Spurs are going to be in the business of trading as well, but Utah specifically.
Listen, my thing for the Warriors, realistically, is just if you can get a top 5 seed, I think you'll be
You're
fine.
good.
Because
Yep.
there is nobody you're gonna. First of all, even last year they were the best home team in the playoffs, or either 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
You get into the playoffs, you're a top seed, top 5 seed. There's nobody beating you at home. You still like the Warriors have. The difference between them and the Clippers is the Warriors have that starting 5, and when you have that starting 5, there's nobody in the league that can pound for pound beat your
and it
starting
also
5.
helps that Steph is still playing.
Yeah, so
like
it's like
he's the
it's just
best
like
in
you
the
said,
game.
it's just about getting another guy on that bench because DiVincenzo has been fine. Poole is going to get better, and then you got just one more. You just get one more guy. You can plug in one of them young guys; they'll figure it out. But you can't play Anthony fucking Lamb, Moody, and Kuminga at the same time. Even JaMychal Green, he missed 5 layups the other day. Lost my mind how he missed all them shits. But you just need one other guy. Clippers, I agree with you. Got to be healthy. With the other teams, it's really just like it's so tough because the Pels, you want to believe in them. They have the wing, the 3-level scorer.
Sure.
They have the dominant presence in Zion. The fit is just so funky, and I feel like Zion and BI aren't utilized as much as they need to be. And then JV, as good of a player he is, does not fit with Zion. Herb Jones, he misses a lot of open looks, and CJ McCollum, he's starting to get it a little bit, but he's been up and down. So they're a team like Willie Green. I feel like he's the guy, but I don't know if they're ready yet. You know what I'm saying? With Memphis, they're kind of like Pelicans in a sense, but I think they're ready.
earlier.
Can't this
I
also
think they're
be
like
the
2
year, though?
years. I think they're like 2 years.
If
early.
there was a year not to be ready, it's probably this year in the West. Since you don't have that team
Maybe,
that
but
you
you're still
going
gonna
to
run into a Memphis. You're still gonna run into a Denver. You're still gonna run into a Golden State. Like you're still gonna run into one of them teams.
But the Pelicans are 5th in offensive rating and 8th in defensive rating. They're
You could still
give
give one of those teams a run. We saw the Pels do it last year with the Suns.
We saw it
that's
last
true.
year. We saw the breakout, the ascension at the end of the last season.
Oh, you talking about with the Pels?
With the Pelicans.
Yeah. It's just so tricky. I
Without
don't know.
Zion.
And I
Yeah.
also think too, Reb, to add to your point, that this team looks a lot different with a lead guard. Now I understand what CJ's
Yeah, I
doing,
agree.
but CJ, how much better he would be off the ball. The reason why they look as funky as they do with Zion and Brandon Ingram is because they don't have a director on the floor. They don't have a Mike Conley type of guy, a distributor that can get them easy buckets, that can get them direction. They just kind of look like they're just going. And that works in certain areas, but when you're in the playoffs and teams get the scheme against you and they recognize that you don't have a lead guard, they attack that. I think that what I do is I put them in the same category as where I had Cleveland last year. Cleveland was Donovan Mitchell away from being a legit top 5 seed because now they got that wing scorer that they can go through strictly for buckets, and they do have all the other stuff. Now you look at the New Orleans Hornets, they have that one thing it's that one thing that they're missing, that lead guard. They got everything else. If they can get that lead guard, I think that they are right in the middle of it.
It's also what happened to Point Zion. Point Zion, when he took over that role with the Pelicans, that's when we really start to see that offense ascend.
And that's not going to happen.
But
No.
you also understand that allows versatility to the offense as well. He's talking about McCollum wanting to play more off ball.
Zion can't play point better than CJ.
No, he cannot, but it's still a different.
I don't want neither of them playing point.
I'm not disagreeing, but it allows a versatility to that offense.
The biggest
want a
concern
point
with
guard.
the Pelicans is
Devontae-
that what
Dyson
OG,
Daniels.
what you said was perfect, because that's why the lineups with the Pelicans have looked better with Jose Alvarado most of the time. He's more of a point floor general
also
than
additional.
He's
CJ,
a
and he's a
very
good
good
defender
defender. Yeah,
against
he's a
shorter
pest.
guards. The Pelicans have holes you can exploit. Zion is not a good defender. Jonas, he
isn't.
can get schemed out defensively of a
Easily.
playoff series. CJ McCollum has never been a good defender, and Brandon Ingram, he's okay.
Hey, they need
he's
that
good.
Jose, Herb, Murphy, Zion,
Facts.
BI lineup
Facts.
is nasty business for a small ball team.
That's a fact.
So there are players on the Pelicans that defensively you can exploit. Where with Memphis, I don't see it that it can be exploited as easily.
I'm with you.
Or the Phoenix Suns, I don't see it that can be exploited that easily.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So that's why the Pelicans, it is funky. But if Zion is who we think he should be, then in the playoffs, I do expect him to elevate his game. Offensively, they'll keep up with anybody. But if they match up against the Nuggets, Nikola Jokic is going to destroy that matchup. He's going to destroy Jonas. The Warriors, that's not a good matchup for the Pelicans either. And the other teams like the Clippers, I just think when you have both those guys healthy with Kawhi and PG, defensively they become a different team, because it's almost to the point like the Clippers,
They're a top 10 defense right
they
now.
just have so much wing defenders on their team. Norman Powell's not playing better. Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, even Terrence Mann, who barely gets minutes. They have so many wing defenders that it's going to make it tough for any team in the playoffs if they're fully healthy to play offense against them.
Yeah, I think
So you and this Clipper logic, man, you killing me with this Clipper logic. I swear, man, because it's the same thing
With the Nets,
It's exact. Not only is it the same thing with the Nets, it's the same thing with the Clippers every year. Depending on what they do, depends on health. And now where's Leonard? Now where's Paul George? This is the difference with this team. As good as they are, this is how good they can be. Only except we don't have this. And it's almost like you got to plan for that with this team. And if you're going to have to plan for that with this team, I don't understand how we can put those dudes in that category with the other teams like the Golden State Warriors, like Denver. We can't put those guys in that same category. I just can't do it. I'm out on the Clippers.
Isn't that what
Denver.
the Clippers are doing right now, preparing for the playoffs?
Yeah, hold on.
Be extra cautious with these guys, because let's be honest, we don't really care if Kawhi and Paul George are playing right now. We want them
why
to be
not,
good.
though?
We want them to be good for April. We want them to play.
OG. What have we said about Denver for the past 2 years?
What have we said about Denver in the past 2 years?
If they're healthy,
right,
they can what?
They can win, sure.
What's the same thing for the Clippers? If they're healthy, what?
Well, here's the difference, though. The difference is Jamal Murray doesn't have a history of injury, right?
That's true.
Not
true.
Joker doesn't have a history of injury.
No.
Now
PJ.
we do know that we do know about KPJ, about
MPJ, yeah.
I'm sorry, we do know about him, but other than that, they don't have a history of injury. So before Jamal Murray blows out his ACL, we got the Denver Nuggets right back in the middle of it.
That's
before MPJ gets hurt, right?
That's fair.
With Kawhi Leonard and with Paul George, this is a reoccurring theme every season with these guys.
Before Kawhi blows his knee out, they're in the finals, possibly winning it.
Absolutely, they're in the finals. No question about that. Even though
the Bucks may have beat them, we're not gonna go into that hypothetical, but we know for a fact they beat
They would've
Phoenix.
beat the Suns.
We
but
know
also
that happens.
with the Clippers, it's not like it is injury. The majority of it,
It's a lot of them.
specifically with Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, it's all
with
of
Paul
them, though.
George, it's injury, and also he doesn't perform.
Hey, whoa,
which is a big
last year
deal,
in the-
Joe.
no,
Which is a
what?
huge deal.
Last
What
year
you
PG
did.
performed, but in the
2
bubble,
years.
he is the reason they choked.
No, I'm not. That was in
yeah,
the bubble.
but
That was
come
different
on.
circumstances.
We're going on 3 years now.
In OKC, he wasn't that good in playoffs.
That's
He was great against the.
But the year they went to
lose because of
the
him.
year they went to the Western
One of
Conference
the
Finals,
years,
he was
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, against the Blazers.
versus the Blazers.
He choked the year before.
Yeah, versus the Jazz.
So you only as good as your last, baby.
Yeah, I was saying
in
the
Game
year
7
after.
in Indiana versus LeBron James, he choked.
the
Now we're going a decade back.
He has these
back.
moments.
He
Bro, we're
only as
talking
good as
about
your
10
last,
years
bro.
ago
He
now.
just had a historical run.
And
They got him to the
Even
WCF.
still, low-key in that moment, he did.
He did fold, but he had a historical run in the
Riv,
for the
Riv,
Clippers.
you
we don't
can't
have
leave
their
out the
number
fact
two.
that Leonard got hurt
Yes,
and they only had to
that
win
changes
one
everything.
game in order to get into the conference finals.
It's my
So it
fault.
wasn't it wasn't like he carried them. Leonard got hurt in March or something like that. All they had to do was win one game.
No.
and they get into the conference finals.
OG, I'm about to check you right now. Leonard got
I'm
hurt
listening.
game 5 against
Okay.
Game 4 at the end of the game against Utah. They had to go win one in Utah, which was arguably the worst place to play at. Then they had to go win in LA, which they was getting clapped by 30 walking into the half. Then they had to go.
They won on their home floor.
Yeah, I just said in LA Game 6
though. I thought.
Yeah, Game 5 was in Utah. Game 6 was the Clippers.
No, bro, that's what I'm saying.
The hero of Game 7 was Terrence Mann.
Huh?
The hero of Game 7 was Terrence Mann.
Game 6.
Game 6, it was Terrence Mann.
Paul George
In
had a
Utah.
damn near triple-double. Please,
that
put
was
some
in
respect to
Utah.
that.
I'm telling you.
No, Game 5 was in Utah.
Yeah, Game 6. Game 6 was at home because Terrence Mann went for 39 in Game 6.
Do you think James Harden is a playoff choker, Riv?
No, he just has his moments.
Is Paul George worse in the playoffs than James Harden?
He's gotten better, though, is what I'm saying.
James Harden's gotten better, too. Do you trust James Harden in the playoffs?
James Harden's got a better win.
What you mean? He averaged 34
against who?
6 and 6 against the
right.
Warriors in the second round.
This is your problem.
James Harden is by far a better player than Paul George. That's a fact.
But no,
what are we talking about here? You don't trust James Harden.
Just wait. You asked me, is James Harden the choker? I said no. He has his moments. You said, is Paul George the choker? I said no. He's gotten better. You said Harden did this and get the Warriors. He has not gotten better, though. He literally got worse from that moment in the playoffs. That's a fact.
Because of injury.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Paul George has gotten better since his stinker in the bubble. That's what I'm saying. He's gotten better. You're only as good as your last. Harden hasn't been Mr. 30, 36, 6, whatever you just said against the Warriors. He hasn't been that in years. So don't bring that shit up. Because against Miami, what did he do?
He averaged 30 versus the Lakers in the second round in the bubble. What are you talking about?
And then, as Rib just mentioned, you only as good as your last. He was on that Brooklyn unit when they lost to Milwaukee. He was on that team when they was in the playoffs. You remember him,
He was
Rib?
hurt.
You remember him, Joe? He was on that unit.
He was out there.
But when PG was hurt again with OKC, he don't give a fuck.
The point I'm trying to make, the conclusion.
He couldn't put his arms up for 2 weeks. Averaged 28 against the Blazers.
Conclusion.
And he had to guard Dame because you know why? Westbrook couldn't do it.
And he
played like shit.
Dame hit the shot in his face.
He did.
Shot of shots.
He did.
That was a great moment.
He took a step back. He took a step back on half
He had such a long wingspan. Block the shot.
He took a step back at half
player.
court, bro. That's a hard.
Yo, he had a 35-footer.
Yeah, like a step back from half court, bro. Was Harden stopping that?
Hell no.
Harden had the block on Lou Dort.
Dame in the first round.
Bust
Lou Dort.
What in Game 7?
Bro, said Lou Dort in a bubble with no fans.
What are you doing?
James Harden blocked the shot for a game-winning three.
James Harden got blocked by
James
Manu
Harden blocked the
Ginobili.
shot. He made a better defensive play than Paul George in that instant.
He did a step back from half court. What the hell can you do against that? Nobody was
Paul
stopping
George
that.
is 6'10". You got the wingspan. Block the shot.
Nobody's stopping that. LeBron wasn't. Michael Jordan wasn't. Scotty wasn't. Nobody's stopping that. Bro, that was a step back. That was a step back from half court, bro. Nobody's stopping that.
The conclusion is that
10 times. He makes that shot once.
The conclusion is that you can't trust Paul George in the playoffs. That's the conclusion.
All I'm saying is you're only as good as your last. He was good last time. So you can trust that he'll be good again.
What about the last time when they was in the play-in and the Timberwolves beat them?
He didn't play against
He didn't play, but you got to be available.
35
You got to be available.
He had COVID. You're blaming him for COVID? All right, I'm done. No, I'm done.
Take it easy.
You're buying into it.
He went ghost in the.
He had 6 points in the last 2 minutes. I caught you with that.
No,
you lied about it. He had 6 points in the last 2 minutes and 2 assists. He accounted for every single point under 2 minutes. Stop lying about that game. He accounted for every single point in the last 2 minutes. Stop lying on that game, bro. And then he caught COVID. You're blaming him for catching COVID, which is crazy to me that you're blaming him for that.
Hey, guy, all right?
You're about to lie.
Stop chatting and let me
You're
get
about to
my.
lie.
That's no, I'm not about to lie because they were up. The Wolves were up points where PG making it was stat padding at that point. They were losing by 6 points.
With under 2 minutes, that's stat padding?
It wasn't under 2 minutes. It was like 33 seconds left in the game. He hit a 3. He brought it within 1 or 2 points. Take it easy. You said 6 points. He made a shot with 30 seconds left when they were already down, and it didn't even matter. So relax.
OG, to finish off this topic, who do you think are the teams in the West that you think can make the finals? Or you can see if everything goes right, they can make it.
If everything goes right, that they can make the finals. Phoenix, Denver.
That's 2.
Phoenix, Denver, and Golden State. That's as far as I'm going.
Everything goes right for the Clippers, which means they stay healthy.
Which is not going to happen.
But
that's not going to happen.
In this scenario where everything goes right.
Even if that was the case, we've seen, even if everything did go right, we've seen those guys go the other way. We've seen it. And because we've seen it, I can't bet on the Clippers. I just can't.
By those other guys, you're not talking about Kawhi.
No, I've seen Kawhi, absolutely. Yeah. But here's the difference, though. We're talking about a Kawhi Leonard from 4 years ago for what he did. We're not talking about a Kawhi Leonard. We're not talking about a Kawhi Leonard today. We're talking about a Kawhi Leonard who's 4 years removed from what he did in Toronto.
You don't think Kawhi can't be just as great?
That's what I said. He had 6 points, and the third point, the other 3 points that you're counting for was they were already losing by 4. They were already losing
game
by,
though, and then before that it was 98.
He made the three.
It was
and it's
98
a 4-point
to it was
game.
98 to 104. He hits the three with a minute and 24 seconds.
That's a
that
big
makes
shot.
it 101, 104.
Big shot.
He's acting like he didn't do nothing. They were down. It was 95 to 99 with 2 minutes left.
So
he gives a dime to Batum. He was double teamed.
So when it
that
matters,
makes it
Bro, are you
98
serious?
to 99. He's
You're
acting
gonna
like
chat
he did
about
completely
1-3.
nothing.
I'm not saying he did completely nothing, but when Paul George needed a backpack, he did not.
Okay, bro. Okay.
Now to add to your to get back to what you just got finished saying, I mean that's a lot to ask for everything to go right. Because again, I know I see what Leonard is. Just 2 seasons ago, I mean he was first team All NBA, right? Mm-hmm. And he was playing at that high level, but he broke down. And to ask for everything to go right, I mean when was the last time we seen everything go right with him? That was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 4 years ago.
You don't see the Memphis Grizzlies in this tier. If everything goes right, they can make the finals.
What's with you in this everything?
Nah,
goes right
OG,
thing?
that stay consistent. If everything,
I am. If everything goes right, I'm looking at from a talent standpoint. I think that they would be hell for the Warriors.
I'm with you.
From a talent standpoint, I think that they would be hell for the Warriors. I think that they gave Steph, I think they gave Klay everything that they were looking for. Considering what the Golden State Warriors are right now, I think they would give the Warriors hell. I can't say that the Warriors would beat them. If that Memphis team is healthy going into the playoffs and they got to see them in a 7-game series, I can't say that the Warriors are going to beat them.
So right now, you just compare every team to playing against Golden State because you're just showing that respect to the Warriors.
Well, not only that though, not only that, I'm looking at it from a standpoint where Golden State is. You look at their first 5, right? At their first 5, they're playing the best out of anybody in the league.
They are,
which means that they're not going to be at the bottom of the Western Conference the entire season.
I'm with you.
So with the idea of them getting better, not just them getting better and staying healthy and making a move, I still think that the road to the NBA championship in the Western Conference goes through Golden State.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Now, this week in the NBA, something that we're going to shout out that happened this week, I'll just start. I think Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is great play.
Is he serious?
That's what you were going to put?
Are you serious?
Really?
I actually had Ben Simmons as well.
I also
Really?
had
NBA.
Ben Simmons.
Oh,
I have
you
another
guys
guy
are
too.
cheaters.
I'm a fan.
Hopefully somebody doesn't say him.
Well, last 6 games, he's been averaging 15.5 points, 6.8 rebounds per game, 5.8 assists, and he's been averaging a steal and a block, shooting 82% from the field. Although he's playing well, they haven't been winning, but he deserves his credit because he's more aggressive. The passes that he's making in transition have been unbelievable. He's been what he is defensively. We know what he is defensively. And I just feel like this is what they need from Ben Simmons if they want to even make some sort of noise in the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
This week in the NBA, Sadiq Bey. Detroit Pistons have been taking immediate calls for Sadiq Bey.
Okay.
Orlando has made a call. Cleveland has made a call. I forgot the other team.
Aren't you a big Sadiq Bey fan?
I really do like his game. I think in Detroit, he's trying to be something he's not. I think he's more of like a role player, like a good player within a role. I think in Detroit, he's trying to show too much in his game. 6'8", solid build, solid defender, can be a good 3-point shooter. The percentages are in there, but he has the stroke. He has the ability. Couldn't in spurts give you a bucket, but I think with Bogdanovich coming in, I think he kind of took that Sadiq Bey role, and then you got Ivy, you got Cade when he gets back. Those guys are the primary ball handler. I think right now at this very moment, Detroit just needs guys that fit around those two guys, and I think with Sadiq Bey, he kind of wants to create for himself, be that type of guy. So I think Detroit is starting to look like he may not be the right fit, and as they're looking, they might bring in another guy who might need the ball. So that's kind of Sadiq Bey is kind of the guy looking out because Jalen Duren, grown ass man at 19, when he plays, that's my guy. He's a beast. So he'll soon get that starting 5 spot. So right now I think Sadiq Bey is just looking out. But I think teams like Cleveland would be a nice spot for him.
That would be an excellent spot.
I think that's a real good
It's
spot.
literally the only thing they need, really.
Yeah,
A guy like Sadiq Bey.
But I think he will have. I think right now he's just showing himself too much. But I do think he can find another role in another spot. I think he is still a good player,
like
but the numbers aren't there.
Where
right
he's
now.
not extending himself and not trying to do too much. He could play a role perfectly, and I think the Cavaliers are that squad.
Perfect,
So
actually.
shout out to our guy Swipe It Cam, was on our show a little bit, is the Nuggets truther. And
Truther.
we talked about Aaron Gordon a little bit, and I want to highlight Aaron Gordon. The last 11 games, 17 points per game, basically 7 rebounds per game, basically 3 assists a game, a block, a steal, shooting 70% from 2-point range, 57% from three, 73% true shooting, and is a plus 104 in these last 11 games. This is arguably the best we've ever seen Aaron Gordon, and it's impacting games, and it's leading to winning basketball on top of the obvious. Jokic playing amazing, where his usage isn't anywhere near what it's been in years past, and even still, he's third in passes leading to assists in the NBA right now. The Nuggets have just been playing great basketball. Aaron Gordon needs that acknowledgement, and I just wanted to give that to him.
Your go, buddy.
Sorry, I don't know why I thought you were about to go. I want to talk about the Magic. The Magic haven't been winning, 5-14, but their young guys are balling out. Franz Wagner over the last 10 games, averaging 23, 24. Shout out six man.
Are you gonna play him?
10. Yeah, they were 10.
10. Yeah, I mean,
I actually had the Knicks at 10.
I need you to highlight that man.
Bull.
No.
Oh, who? Franz.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. The last 10 games, he's averaging 23 a game, 5 rebounds, 40% from three, 88% live, 65% true shooting. He's been playing unreal. And Bull, who obviously coming out of college or wherever he went to, he
Oregon,
got
right?
Facts. He got all of this hype coming out, this crazy size, labeled as this demigod. And the first few years in the league, he was really just bouncing around all over the place. He found a home in Orlando. He's been playing out of his mind. He could shoot. He's one of the leaders in terms of blocks as well. He's been able to play well defensively.
Pretty much just took Bamba's spot.
Yeah, which is insane, given that his draft position.
I'm out on Mo Bamba. I am so out on him.
But Bull's really stepped out in his absence. He's been playing well.
OG, this week in the NBA.
This week in the NBA, which is kind of ironic because I just got finished talking about Gilgeous-Alexander and his development and how much he's gotten better. I watched earlier this week. The first thing I'm thinking is what happened to the wing defender? What happened to that guy who took pride in playing defense? We quickly talk about guys, right, being awesome as offensive players, but they're not that on the other side of the basketball. So I watched Shai Gilgeous-Alexander get his lunch eaten by Jalen Brunson. Couldn't believe that. Put 34 on him on 14 for 20 shooting. Very little resistance. Now, I want to talk about Gilgeous-Alexander as a superstar. I do, but I can't do that when you're getting served. There's no resistance whatsoever when you getting served. Which had me thinking, what happened to the wing defender who took pride in slowing a guy down? Now, I understand that this is the pros and it's really difficult to stop a guy, but what happened to making it difficult on a guy? Jalen Brunson basically had his way with him. And I'm thinking to myself when I'm watching it on this week of the NBA, what happened to the wing defender? What happened to that guy who took pride in locking the guy down or slowing the guy down?
Hey, so OG.
Herb Jones is a rare breed.
Respect Andrew Wiggins. OG, quick question. How many wing defenders?
That was mad quick.
Yeah, how many? This is rare breed. How many wing defenders in the NBA that like all-star wing defenders do you think play defense at a great to elite level?
The all-star term is tough because
Jaylen
the first
Brown.
one that came to my mind was Jaylen Brown's perfect, but
Jason Tatum.
I'm not saying
Celtics.
all-star, but OG Anunoby.
Oh, we do.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask him because most of the time it's the all-star guys that are not doing it.
KD
They're
has
the
been
ones
a great
being
defender
hidden.
this season.
So I'm
He
asking.
he has been a really good defender, but I'm thinking about the wing defenders, all-star guys.
Yes.
I can't really see any, and the
There's
reason
really
why I
not
can't
many.
see any is because they don't really take pride in it.
You don't.
I think we live in an era of social media where guys are afraid of getting embarrassed. Even though this is pro basketball and this is part of the game where I'm going up against a pro, so I got to bring my game because I know he's going to bring his game. So when I think about all stars, I can't really see an all star. Jaylen Brown plays defense.
Correct.
I definitely dig Jaylen Brown's ability on the defensive end. Scotty Barnes said he's the best defender in the game.
He's lying, but I get it.
He's not.
Yeah, Scotty Barnes said he's the best defender in the game. Meanwhile, OG Anunoby, the word is
there
he's
it
the
is.
best.
That's
No,
it.
OG is the best
OG's
defender
him.
on their team.
I mean, I think we're talking about wing defenders. OG Anunoby takes pride.
Correct.
Dorian
Right.
Finney-Smith,
Right.
Herb Jones.
Herb Jones is my guy. That's where I was going. Herb Jones is my guy. I think that and when I say Herb Jones, Joel, I'm thinking to myself, what happened to the other guys? It can't just be
Jason
one
Tatum.
dude in the league
You don't-
that's a
you don't think
lockdown
Tatum-
wing defender.
No,
You don't
that's
think
it. That's
Tatum
the
takes
answer.
pride?
Jason Tatum.
Tatum.
Now I tell you what, that's starting to happen with Jason Tatum. I have seen the improvement of Jason Tatum as a
Last
wing
2 years, for
defender.
sure.
Marcus Smart, his ability to defend on the wing gets overshadowed by his flopping. I think it's nuts that he
Mikal
does that as
Bridges.
much as he does.
Yeah.
That's another
It
one.
just gets taken away for how good he can be as a wing defender. Drew Holiday, you know how I feel about him as a wing defender. But these guys, I'm wondering what happened to guys taking pride in slowing guys down. Because the next time I got to look at a box score where your counterpart goes 35-7 or 32-8, I'm going to go nuts because it's telling me that I know these guys are difficult to deal with, but are they that difficult to deal with?
A lot of elite defenders in the wing are usually the guys that don't have the most
Lonzo Ball is one of those guys.
Oh, you're finally on.
I would say, what do you mean he's a great defender? I never said he wasn't.
No, the defending
What are
is
we
never
talking about?
stopped.
I just gotta make sure.
That's,
Okay.
I'm with you.
Dylan Brooks is one of them. Jeremy
Overrated
Grant.
slightly.
Jeremy Grant.
Good. Great.
Jeremy Grant's been great this year on the wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben
He's been
Simmons.
great.
No.
I think Jaden McDaniels is one of
Yes.
those guys on
Yes.
Minnesota.
Ben Simmons looks like he's actually starting to become a basketball
looks like he
Ben
likes
Simmons,
basketball again.
he looks comfortable. He doesn't look completely
Love it,
lost.
man. Love it. Love
playing
my
better.
guy.
Try telling you guys, be patient with Ben.
Ben 10.
Now you're sick.
Try telling you guys.
Pulling a hand.
So I'm not saying I don't see any. I just don't see many.
Yeah, I don't
Oh, no,
All-Star.
yeah.
Yeah, All-Star.
especially,
Like,
especially in the
I
regular
just don't see
season.
many.
Especially
Yeah,
in the
you
regular
would usually
season.
like I think like in the 2010s era, you would see one on every single playoff team. There's one of those guys.
For sure.
Bunch of
Hey,
Tony
who is that
Allens.
guy? Who is that guy in the huddle going, can you score the rest of the points? Okay, I'll deal with 24. Don't worry about him. Who is that guy? That I haven't seen many guys like that. Herb Jones is one of those guys, like you just talked about.
PJ
Jason
Tucker.
Tatum is getting better, but Jason Tatum is not going to come in the huddle and go, yo, I'll deal
It's
with
the guys
Steph
without
Yo, that,
offensive
OG,
responsibilities.
I don't know what he did against
Me-
Kevin Durant.
Is he going to do that now?
What
That's
he
a
did
playoff
against-
series.
I'm-
I
oh,
believe
no.
he can
in
do
a
it in the
regular
playoffs.
regular season, that I understand what you're
They
saying.
have a lot of
But
responsibility.
come
his
playoff
legs.
time,
Playing too many
Tatum
minutes.
will call his own number playing defense on the top
Like,
guy.
we don't
And I,
have
and
those
I
guys.
just want to see that more. That's all.
Yeah, I'm
I
with
just
you.
want to see that more when we talk about these guys as elite players. Because when I think about guys on one side of the basketball, you're more of a specialist than you are an elite player.
Yeah, no, that's why I love like when the Clippers and Boston play. I love it because Kawhi and PG, Tatum and Brown, they match up against each other. Like they pick that data. Like all
You
right,
didn't like Derek White on Luka?
I hated that shit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Did you, OG?
I hate
Were you
that.
watching
That
that
was
game?
crazy.
That
That was
shit pissed
crazy.
me
I did
off.
watch that
How
game.
many-
Rib, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think Luka Dort's one of those guys when he's in the playoffs. He
my-
did it to Harden.
No, he's one of those guys. Every game of his life, I feel like Dortz gets it. Whew.
Bro, we were saying it when we were on the playback. How many times did we see Luka take White into the post, do the exact same move, either fade away or pass it out?
Now,
to
Luka was
open guy
getting
for
his,
three?
but he wasn't getting his against Tatum and
But
Smart.
bro, it's just
Tatum guarded
boring.
him
It
for a
was
minute.
boring.
And
I
now
don't think he scored, what, 2 points?
It's a minute.
I'm glad you, Rib. Quick question for you, Rib.
Talk to me.
Is Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum what Leonard and Paul George were supposed to be?
In terms
The answer
of
is yes.
what, winning or like
All the above.
like
Production,
ability?
winning, ability.
No, production is not. But in terms of winning, you mean like
JB
winning?
was averaging
Both.
26. What are we talking about?
I would say Paul George was in an MVP conversation.
Okay,
Brown
but
is
still.
never mind. In terms of winning, I think right now Kawhi and PG are trying to be what they are in terms of winning. You know, like they've pretty much, I don't want to say won the NBA championship, but they've had a winning season when they've been the two guys almost every year of their career. And plus they're younger. They're going to have the numbers. They're going to put in more effort in the regular season. They're going to have the juice. So I would say, yeah, I think right now Kawhi and PG are trying to do what they do, you know, consistently win, be on the court.
Their little bro.
In a sense, yeah, you could say that. In terms of accomplishments, you can't really compare because Kawhi clears all three of them put together, and then
Right.
Paul George clears
talking all
Jalen
time.
Brown.
We're talking
That's what I'm
as
saying.
duos
Like,
together,
that's what I'm saying.
though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
I'm not talking. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying,
winning-
Rib. I'm not
I know
talking
what
about
he's
individual
talking
play.
about.
I'm talking about as a duo. Are
duo,
these-
you got to give it to only people that can compete right now with Brown and Tatum as duos is
Right.
Giannis and whoever you want to pick, and then Steph and whoever you want to pick at the moment.
And it's not an idea of them being better. The logic is, are these two guys what you two were supposed to be?
Yes, it was supposed to be Jalen Brown and Tatum was supposed to be what they when they first got
Yes.
together.
Yes.
They
Right.
that was the model. Kawhi and PG, the two-way wing defense. Tatum and Brown was supposed to be that, but then these two keep getting banged up. Those two keep going up. Now it's like, yo, y'all got to catch them again.
Which
Right.
duo would you rather have?
Right now,
Yeah.
the Brown and Tatum.
Okay.
Yeah, easily.
I'm kind of
Yeah, I'm not-
surprised.
no.
I never know with you.
No, if you ask me,
You're just,
if
you're
you
just,
ask
you're
me,
just completely throwing away Jalen Brown's production.
no, if you single-handedly ask me who would I rather have out of all of them in PG, you know I'm going to take PG out of bias. But if you talk about duo, yeah, respect.
Jalen Brown putting up 26. Paul George on 2018.
What?
Putting up 26.
Oh, you talking about
a
the
game.
regular season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's all we have. It's
No, I know in the playoffs when PG's a one-man show, he puts up 28,
Word. In the
10
finals.
and 9. He never made the finals.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown only averaged 22 in the finals.
Okay, went to the
Let's
finals.
relax. Like he was. Come on. Let's.
Cool.
let's-
Tatum went off. He had a backpack.
No, respect what?
Jaylen Brown was very good in the finals.
Yes, very good. But let's not act like he made it seem like Brown was generational.
Well, you just
That's
threw
all
you
he's
just
saying
threw
that he
away
made it to the
Jaylen
finals,
Brown.
and Paul George didn't. That's all he did.
Yeah, it was
He was
funny.
petty.
It was,
He was being
Brown.
petty.
it was a funny, cute one. I mean,
You just threw it away.
no, I didn't throw it away.
You did.
Jaylen Brown's
No,
an-
you did.
Jaylen Brown's
No,
an
you
incredible
took it-
Robin.
You
crumbled it up.
You
Oh,
said Paul George was the
what?
MVP candidate.
What? Jaylen Brown's an incredible Robin.
You're losing me.
He's
Best
an
Robin in the
incredible
league.
Robin. Best Robin in the league.
That's
Dab me up
facts.
for that.
He
Right
is.
now?
Nah,
How
without
long
a
have you
doubt,
saying
yes,
it for? Dab
actually.
me up right now.
Wait,
The
let me
answer is
think.
yes.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Ah, man.
Well, LeBron's a Robin now with the Lakers. You would say JB's better than him?
Oh shit, he's got a great point.
I don't go into too deep into the numbers.
That's-
You know what I'm saying?
that
Young guys
shuts
are
that
gonna
down, doesn't it?
produce the
That-
numbers.
that
Because when
shuts that
PG
down,
was a
doesn't
1,
it?
we know what
Oh,
goes
gee,
down. You
come
know what
on,
I'm
man.
saying? Respectfully.
That shuts that down.
So on
mean,
to the
PG's
last
better than
topic of OG's guest appearance.
JB's just
I
goes
want
out
to
there, go
talk
get
about
buckets
the
and
Indiana
plays
Pacers.
defense.
I mean, that's pretty important. I would say get buckets
Yeah.
and play defense.
He's
True.
OG.
Doesn't
are,
play
are we
make.
calling LeBron?
Not
Are
that
we
good of
calling
a
LeBron
rebounder.
Robin?
Oh.
Is that what
Dribbling
we're
is
doing?
slow.
Like 5 or 6.
Well,
He's
that's
okay.
the that's the
Playmaking is
plan.
very garbage.
That
I
was the
know.
plan.
Better.
Moving
Still dribbles his
forward,
head down.
that was the plan. If AD doesn't break
tight.
down, that was.
Can't lead
I
a
think
team,
James
can't
has
lead
no
the guy.
problem
Can Paul George?
He
making a
has.
silky segue into that
Multiple
role.
times,
If AD doesn't break
UCF.
down, I
Twice.
solely
WCF.
10
believe that
years ago.
James
No,
would
it
have
was
loved
2
to
years
have
ago.
played
No,
off
WCF.
of him
Yeah,
more.
with Kawhi.
And I think that they
Kawhi
win a
got
lot.
hurt.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. I mean, Tatum gets
Oh,
hurt.
was the-
Jaylen Brown's cooked.
Yeah,
but
you know
what's,
that.
what's
Like-
killing me is us having two conversations at once.
Yeah,
If Jason Tatum gets hurt, Jaylen Brown's done. So I just need you to know that that team is going down. So
Of
relax.
course, yeah, it's not
Yeah,
a squad.
so don't.
It's Tatum.
Yeah, he's the guy. I respect Tatum. I respect
Yeah,
Tatum.
he's top 3,
Top 3 what? Giannis, Luka, Steph. What are you doing here?
top 5.
There
No.
you go. All right.
No, there's a difference between playing better and being a better
Yeah.
player.
Yes,
Relax.
yes.
Yeah, relax with that
Understand
one.
the
I throw it
difference.
in there.
Yeah. Okay. You keep trying. You're gonna try every
Hey,
week.
I'm gonna
get
try.
it.
I will. Eventually, he'll stick once he wins MVP.
I tell you what. If Tatum goes to the finals this year and he plays better than that dog shit we seen last year,
What if he wins MVP?
I will literally say he's better than Steph on air.
Wait,
Don't care what
which,
Steph does.
Which
Tatum.
MVP
Is it-
or
is it-
finals?
Both.
So
Both?
since
Okay.
you,
I mean, that's
bringing
fair.
up,
You
since
should.
bringing up Jason Tatum, has the gap closed between him and Luka?
I've been trying to tell him, OG.
It
I've
has
been trying
closed,
to
but
tell
I
him.
think Luka's still a better player.
The
I
defensive
think he is. I
aspect.
think he is too.
OG, I don't think you can say it yet until the playoffs.
We scored 30 on Luka just the other night.
Who's we? Your
As
team
a
is
team,
clearly
as a
better.
team collectively,
Well,
we had 30 when he was primary
his-
defender.
Well,
Oh
here's
yeah,
the
no, his
problem
defense
with
is
it.
dog shit.
And Tatum the other way. I think he
But Luka
allowed
is
6
just
points all night.
He's such an offensive machine that it's.
Yes,
it's-
but Tatum's
they-
still
Tatum
averaging
not?
30 while being one of the best
okay, so I
defenders in
think I said
basketball.
this shit on the playback. They're just two different type of archetype players. Like
But
Luka's a backpacker. Tatum is more of a two-way type of like Luka can willingly carry an offense to a top 10 offense all season. I don't think Tatum can do that with the type of pieces Luka can. But if you give him a team, now that's a different conversation where they look like the best team in the league. As opposed to Luka, you just put a bunch. He's like LeBron. You put a bunch
know
of
what you're
guys
saying.
with him.
Or Harden,
he puts them.
yes.
He puts them in Harden. He puts them in. They gonna always be around.
Because
Like,
offensively, he's going to be able
he
to
has
do
the play,
some
like
shit that
playmaking.
no one else can do.
Playmaking is just as valuable as defense to a degree in this NBA. So when you're Luka and you can give it 35 and then put your guys in success and get like 10, 11 assists, that closes the gap between somebody who defends at a high level and can score.
Tatum and Luka aren't in the same conversation when it comes to playmaking.
Same with defense, but that's why it closes the gap.
It's still Tatum can still playmake at a very high
Yes,
level.
yes.
The defense, it's not close.
It's not, but the playmaking isn't either. Luka's
It's not
generational.
Fair.
But
fair.
Tatum has
Well,
a way to
would you-
catch him because he can be a
But
better
I-
playmaker.
but the thing is-
Rib, would you say? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, OG, I feel like we're gonna say the pretty similar things. Maybe not. You said it perfectly. Yes, Luka is leaps and bounds better than Tatum as a playmaker. But even still, Tatum is a great playmaker.
He is.
Can you say that Luka
Tatum-
is
I
a
don't think
great
Tatum's
defender?
I don't think Tatum's a great
Ooh,
playmaker.
really? Come on.
Tatum's
Well,
not a great playmaker.
here's
He's a good
I
one.
think the thing that we
He's
have a
getting better,
problem
though.
with, Rib, is when you say playmaker, what do you mean playmaking? Because playmaking isn't just distributing the basketball.
No.
Playmaking is a number of different things. When you talk about
He's spitting.
I'm getting
Yes.
emotional.
You getting oozy?
I'm getting emotional because when we sat up here 2
We gave
weeks
you
ago,
props.
He's grabbing
No,
hard.
2 weeks ago. We did.
No, you told me that I was tripping.
It wasn't me. It must have been him.
It was not me.
I know exactly what
I
you're
know
don't remember who said it,
I'm
but I
the
know
one who.
exactly what
I'm the
you're
one.
talking about.
Me and Drew have had multiple conversations about
So it wasn't
playmaking
me.
being more than just passing.
So when we talk about playmaking, Rev, we don't just talk about a guy just distributing the basketball and getting other guys shots. We're talking about a guy in Jason Tatum who, number one, has become a better wing defender. Him becoming a better wing defender, he speeds up the offense because he's creating turnovers. That's playmaking, right? So his ability to get to the basket and beat up on big guys. When he beats up on big guys and gets them fouls, now they got to go to the bench. That's playmaking. So those are other things that you involve in playmaking as opposed to just, I'm getting this guy a shot. I'm getting that guy a shot. When I'm on the wing and I'm defending and I'm able to speed up our offense, when I'm on the wing and not just defending, when I'm help defense, when I'm in here rebounding, these are things that are playmaking. When I get loose balls and I extend our offense, that's playmaking. Those things, playmaking is not just distributing the basketball and I'm just getting Tim Hardaway Jr. a shot or I'm getting Christian Wood a shot. Because if that's playmaking, then there has to be more to it than that. It has to be more to it than that.
That's a fair point, but I think when we talk about Luka, like in regards to him, everything Tatum can do, Luka can do just as well offensively, if not better. I think outside of three-point shot, Tatum has a better three-point shot, but talk about playing from the post, I think it's similar. Talking about driving to the basket, Luka has that from the mid-range. Luka's a better mid-range shooter as well. As a finisher, Luka's better as well. I think defenses collapse more towards Luka, and he creates more opportunities for his teammates because Luka's in a position where you don't have to respect the guys around him to the degree you have to respect Jaylen Brown, a Marcus Smart, an Al
That's
Horford,
why they're not crashing.
etc.
That's why they're not crashing on Tatum the way that they crash on Luka.
We still do. They
They
still
still
do.
crash, but it's just with Luka, you don't respect those guys as much. So
they're
there's
not good. They're not that good.
added
Spot-up
defensive
shooters.
attention.
When Luka
to
was
Luka.
gone, the starting lineup put up
It's
27
not
points
it's not that
against
they're
the
not
Rockets.
good. They're spot up shooters, so they're relegated to do a specific thing when that certain guy is there. They're not like you can't. Tatum goes out, you still have Jaylen Brown that can create. Smart to a degree can make looks.
Oh, listen,
Brogdon can do that.
we
They
understand.
Dallas has made a team where they put spot up shooters around Luka, not guys who can really outside of Dinwiddie and Wood. Who Wood isn't. I don't know what his minutes are up and down.
Wood and
shit
Hardaway are good bench pieces. That's what they are.
Like they put guys that fit Luka's game, which is spot up shooters. They don't put guys that can create. Boston is.
There's only two creators on the Dallas Mavericks, it's Dinwiddie and Luka.
Even in the playoffs, they still guarded Tatum similar to Luka. Maybe not as much gravitated, but still, you trap Tatum. They forced him to be a passer, and that's why he had so many turnovers. They forced him to make plays for others. That was the game plan and the scheme on Tatum, and making him shoot that broke ass mid range.
Game one.
I just had to throw that out there.
That was rude. Game one.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, OG. Go ahead.
Which, by the way, has improved this season.
Yeah, and his post game. His post game.
Well, I mean, the midi proves.
Which has improved, and the reason why you saw him the way you saw him in the finals was because he was so wrapped up in offense, and when his offense wasn't going, you saw him disappear. And I think that comes with maturity, which goes back to my original point. Luka came in way more polished than Tatum. And because Luka came in way more polished than Tatum, you're not going to get much more out of Luka than you already gotten. Tatum, on the other hand, there is a better upside. Number one, on the defensive side of the basketball, you see it improving. You see his ability to distribute. You see his ability to play make. All of those things come in. You see those things improving. Luka, I think that we've seen we're probably gonna get better seasons out of Luka, but I think that we've seen the best of him. I've always felt like by year 5. This is who this guy is.
Which is that's saying a lot because
I mean this is MVP.
Tatum was deemed one of the most polished prospects coming in a while. So that's saying a lot.
Even with saying that, Luka, if this is the best he's going to be, this is a top 3
Hall
player
of
in
Fame
the world.
player. Yes.
Yeah, it is a top 3 player in the
different
NBA.
type of animal.
Is he better than Jokic?
I think they're similar. Yeah.
One guy is just the wing.
Is
Exactly,
Luka is Luka better than Steph?
No.
So he's probably. Is he better than Giannis?
No.
So right now he's probably. So
3.
are you definitively saying that he's better than Jason Tatum?
Will Tatum be better than Giannis though?
No,
Probably not.
Or Steph. He'll never be as good as Steph.
Unless Steph just declines.
Steph but Steph.
Well, I'm talking about Steph right now.
Oh,
His
yeah, I'm
MVP
sorry.
form,
Yeah.
He's going to be way better than him.
I mean, still, but you got to think Tatum is defensively is doing things
And
that
also,
Luka's
Steph,
not going to be able to do. That
Steph
Steph's
is a-
not
That's
going to
the
be able to
defensive
do.
upside.
Yes.
Steph Curry's a great example. He doesn't. You can argue, Tatum's a better two-way player, but Steph's offense just supersedes anything Tatum does. He's a walking
but
microwave.
Steph is a better offensive player than Luka.
Yeah,
Steph is also a
efficiency-wise
better
for
defender
sure.
than Luka.
But Luke,
is
the
crazy.
gap
It
between
shouldn't be, but it's true.
The gap
Is Steph a
offensive-
better offensive player than Luka, or is he a better scorer than Luka?
Yeah, that's
He's a better scorer.
I said offensive, and I knew.
But also Steph doesn't have the ball like
you
Luka.
You gotta understand how like the shit Steph does, like
because that is playmaking.
Steph coming off a screen and two people going to him, and then the other guy getting open. That should be a form of him being a playmaker. Like that,
it is.
That's added. Like the shit Steph does without the ball
His
and
gravity.
with the ball, is accounted for like what Luka does just on ball. Like it's a different type. That's why he's viewed so high because his off ball shit is ridiculous. I think offensively, like they're different type of offensive players. One is a heliocentric guy, another's kind of an off ball. It's really just about preference. I lean Steph because efficiency and the fact that he's a walking microphone. Well, yeah, but like just offensively,
it leads to winning basketball.
And he's a 3-level scoring from 3 mid-range finishing. He's just percentage-wise just different being at 6'3". But
what I will say about in terms of like Luka's playmaking versus Tatum, and I'll even throw in Jokic grouping in him with Luka, is you can see how defenses play them and the different type of schemes. With Nikola Jokic, we saw in the Clippers series that they were not doubling him.
Stupid.
Because they know that if you double, he's going to make the right pass right away. There's no doubt about it. There's a reason why teams don't double Jokic and they double Embiid, because they know Embiid struggles with that. Same thing with Luka and Tatum. You don't see teams throwing doubles at Luka that often. Usually the game, like in the Warriors series, it was let's just stay like glue on these wing players and let's just let Luka do what he does. He's gonna score regardless. Let's just not let these open 3-point shots happen. And with Jason Tatum, it was not like that. Like they will double Tatum. They will force him to make those passes.
Dallas did that a lot just the other night, but Tatum looked comfortable doing it. There was a couple times he ran out of it, ran the right passes. But I think we could say the gap between Luka and Tatum that everyone thought was this huge gap last year is definitely closing.
Because Tatum was a top 10 player fact, maybe 9
at
or 10.
At the end of last year.
And Luka was 4, 5, or 6. So I don't think the gap, like in terms of the top 10, the gap.
People put
were
Luka
chatting
top like 2.
They were chatting with him being better than Curry.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. I'm just saying from the consensus, like the people who know ball, I think pretty comfortably, if you're top 10, the gap isn't big regardless. I think like
there's a difference between being that 10 and 3
but I don't think
the
gap. I'm saying is the gap can be achieved. Is what I'm saying. Like as opposed to a top 5 player to a top 20 player.
Jimmy Butler was around that top 10. He's not going to achieve that gap.
Jimmy Butler.
And it's not. Also, I'm glad you mentioned that part because there was a time. I mean, when James after the 15-16 season, he was the number 1 player in the world. Now the number 7 player, the gap was like this between him and James.
That's LeBron though.
But that's the point. The point is when you're in the top 10, Riv, there is a significant gap that may not be able to be achieved. So the difference between this situation is Luka and Tatum. That gap is closer than people think. Not only is it closer than people think, it is closing.
Like the gap between Giannis and Embiid, it's pretty significant in my opinion.
This is how I'll describe it.
The gap between Embiid and the Joker, was it significant to you?
Last year,
without a doubt.
You think so?
Yeah,
I guess
without a doubt.
Significant.
Last year there was significant.
I've said this before.
That's why I said Giannis. Because that's why I said Giannis.
I've said this before. The gap between Jokic and Embiid is what the gap once was between Steph and Dame, and probably still is when Dame was the second point guard in the league.
Not that Jokic is bad on defense.
I can get with that logic. Joel, I can definitely get with that. There was a stretch between Dame and Curry where people talked about Dame, but it wasn't close.
Yeah. It's still that stretch.
Listen,
it's still
you take Jokic. Yes, you take
I'm a
Jokic
huge Dame
10 out of 10 times. But even in those 10 out of 10 times, it's still a competition. Jokic is going to win every time, but you cannot slight Embiid. Because
compared to Jokic, I will.
Jokic is crazy.
Tatum
is amazing.
Tatum was single-handedly jumped for
I'll describe the Tatum gap like this. Last season, the gap between Luka and Tatum was the gap between Luka and Paul George. Paul George and Tatum were kind of like in a similar tier. This year, I now view Tatum more so like how I would once view the gap between Luka and Kawhi, if they're even like, it's very similar. I think Tatum is now went from being a 1B to like a certified 1A. He's like Kawhi.
No, he is in that tier of without a doubt superstar.
How?
Wait, I mean, he's without a doubt a superstar.
He's the MVP.
No, I think when you're a 1B, you're already a superstar.
No, but people.
So Paul George is a superstar?
I don't have Paul George as a 1B anymore.
I mean, you could argue he was.
I think he was teetering. Like he was always teetering.
That's what Tatum was, though.
And we've had conversations.
No, I think once Tatum went to the finals, 1B is like
Jimmy
Embiid,
Butler last year.
Tatum.
Tatum, I mean,
It was
Butler's-
Kawhi before he stopped playing
Wait,
basketball.
Embiid's 1B?
I think Embiid was a 1B.
thought
too.
Kawhi's a 1B?
I thought 1A. This was before before this season. I don't change my list 20 games in. 1A for me was Giannis, Steph. It was Luka, LeBron,
Jokic,
KD. Those were my 1A guys. Like guys who those were my 1A. 1B was like Embiid, Tatum.
Embiid second place MVP
it was
2
Kawhi.
years in a row.
It was
Yeah, so I
Kawhi,
would
but
say
he
hasn't
Tatum
playoffs.
instead of the Kawhi analogy.
Yeah.
I'll say Tatum is like
Yes, he's
KD.
1A.
He's the gap, but
Yes.
like Luka and KD, that's the gap.
Yeah, I would probably
between
like
Tatum
put
and
him-
LeBron.
You're basically saying, can he be the best team on a championship team? That's at the end of the day what we're saying.
Well, most of those guys,
Luka better than
all the
KD?
6 guys I named outside of Luka
Luka
have
is
either
better
an
than
MVP or a chip.
How sure
So-
are we of that?
If
I'm
Tatum
pretty
gets
sure.
the MVP, I will
I'm good
gladly.
with that.
I will
I'm
gladly
good with
like if Tatum gets an MVP this year, I will gladly put him in 1A. It's not a big deal to me. But like the 1A guys were outside of Luka were guys who've won chips or multiple chips, or guys who have MVPs or multiple MVPs. Those were my 1A guys. Like they've had a significant gap on the league. So that's why I was like, Tatum isn't there yet, but he's getting there. He just went to the finals. He just had a great run. So that's why I was like, okay, if Tatum gets an MVP or a ring this year, how the fuck can I leave him out the 1A? I think
I'm good with
I think
I'm
so.
good with putting Luka. I'm good with putting Luka ahead of KD. I know you don't like that, but I'm good with putting Luka.
And I'm not even a KD guy. I just got to acknowledge
I'm
that.
good with putting Luka ahead of him. I am.
He's averaging a triple double, basically, Luka.
Of course he is. He's been amazing.
And I think I think the problem that you having is you seeing KD as buckets, and we're talking about as an offensive force that Luka has been. He's in what he creates for his unit. KD is primarily buckets. Now, KD has been better defensively this year, which boils my blood, by the way. And the reason why it does is because what it shows me is that you could have been this defensive player in the past, only except you haven't been. Why have you never made an all-league defensive team, KD? Why have you never been on an all-league defensive team? One time in your career, you finished in the top 10 in Defensive Player of the Year. Once in 16 years. Why have you not been a better defender? And why do I have to see, and going into year 16, on a team that's inferior to the teams that you've been on in the past with Ibaka, not only with Ibaka, with the Defensive Player of the Year and Draymond Green, where you were better, where you could have been a Defensive Player of the Year. This is why I have such a difficult time when I hear us talking about guys being superstars, where you see inconsistencies with these guys on the other side of the basketball. I've said this to you guys thousands of times, and I can't say it enough. The cheese is not extra. It comes with the burger.
So you'd put Tatum in that superstar then, because he has been consistent now for
Absolutely.
over a year on the defensive side of the ball.
Absolutely.
And we know
I
offensively.
hope you don't think I'm
he's
not
been there.
calling Tatum a superstar.
No, I know it's a 1A one. We're getting very
So-
semantic-y,
Got to, man. I can't have Steph,
Tatum or KD?
Embiid and shit. I gotta.
But you
Tatum
could
or
have
KD?
Tatum in that conversation.
Yeah. Man. Huh? What?
Tatum or KD?
Still KD for me. By a slight, still KD.
But
for me.
Luka is over KD still.
I never answered that question.
I
Or you're
am.
asking me
I
now?
am.
Yeah.
God, that's so tough
Luka's
for
better
me.
than Tatum.
I'm not saying you're wrong there, but KD might be better than both still.
That's fine. You can. There's no wrong
Those
answer.
three of
with
them,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, there's
Those
no
three of
wrong
them are-
answer. Like
Because if you're
Oh,
gonna say that
phenomenal.
KD's better than Tatum, I want the consistency that KD is better than Luka.
Where's-
And that's not a slight
wait,
to
how-
Luka.
where's-
He thinks Luka's better than
But that's what
Tatum.
I'm saying.
you think Luka's better than Tatum? I think Luka's better
No,
than
he did.
Tatum.
I don't know if Drew does.
What are you saying? I don't get the correlation though.
It's close. Well,
It's
Because I think
just
Luka's
wanted
better
to
than
see-
both.
I wanted
KD's
to
better
see.
than
I
Tatum.
wanted to see your thought process through.
Oh,
There is a difference between again, guys. We can't get off the track of playing better and being a better player, right? So this is why I mentioned to me, Rib and I had this conversation too. This is why I mentioned when you got that's why I don't just go off of one-on-one. That's why I don't just go off of guys just being one-on-one guys, because I've seen better players get outplayed. So because you're a better player than this guy doesn't mean that you can't get outplayed. Jason Tatum outplayed Kevin Durant.
Correct.
Is he a better player than Kevin Durant? There's a difference between playing better than a guy and being a better player. And I think that Kevin Durant at that point was a better player. But at this point, I think Jason Tatum is playing better. And I think that gap between him and KD is also closing.
I'm with you.
I do agree on the
That's,
gap.
How
that's
do
the
you-
perfect thought process.
Yes, but how
That's
do
the
you
perfect
also
thought
take out
process.
that KD's been in the league for 15 years and we've seen him be this phenomenal for
Tatum just has
all
to
of
keep
these
playing better.
years?
Even
I know, and
KD's
Tatum
been playing
it's
very
just a
well
different,
this
like,
season so
length.
far too, on both sides. And it's facilitating aspect of things too. Yes, KD's been focused primarily more on getting his buckets, but even still, KD's an underrated passer.
Well, it's all about
No way. You ain't selling me that one. KD does
Stop.
not get off the field. No, he doesn't. He's buckets. No way.
No, of course. Listen.
KD is
When you think of
buckets.
Kevin Durant, you think of scoring 100%. But that's
Correct.
why that's why I say, and I've been pretty adamant on this, KD as a passer is underrated. He gets his guys in spaces because of how drawn the defenses are to Kevin Durant.
So if that's fair, so if you're going to say that, then you can't tell me that he's underrated more than you can tell me that he's inconsistent. Because underrated
Inconsistent
means
in what?
inconsistent in passing. Because if he's underrated, then that means that there's guys that are ahead of him as a passer. There are guys that are ahead of him as a passer where you can go, yo, KD is a better passer than him. Only except he hasn't proven it.
I only say underrated because people only.
So
I feel like
who's the better
people
passer,
only.
KD or Tatum?
Damn.
How can
Yo, that is such a amazing question.
how can we say KD's an underrated passer when
And I wanted to get that
And
thought
with-
process out because when you think of Kevin Durant, you think of scoring. You don't think about all the other things that
Who
he
was a better
provides to an
passer
offense.
before this 20 games started?
Damn,
It was not a conversation last year.
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant was a better passer.
Yes, all right, good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Well, you was thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about it.
I thought you were going to tell me Tatum.
No.
All right, good. That's what
He
I'm
was
saying.
a better passer.
All
last
right,
year.
I'm with you.
Okay.
All right,
I
even
just
still,
don't-
I still think I would take KD.
Okay.
All right.
the reason why I'm not going to label KD an underrated passer is because you look at the Boston series, the Nets got swept largely because KD wasn't efficient from the field. But when Boston would collapse their defense, he would not make the read quick enough and pass the ball. When we
Who are you
saw,
trusting on that team at that last year?
you have to make the open pass.
Regardless,
I'm not disagreeing.
LeBron had opportunities where he didn't have to trust
Good
a
point.
damn soul.
But
And
that's
he
different.
made that pass.
We're talking about arguably the
But
greatest
you
playmaker
make
of all time.
Smart players, you make that
We
pass.
talk,
Yeah, I'm
and
with you.
OKC when they
You're
blew the
making a
3-1
very
lead.
fair point.
OKC when they blew the 3-1 lead, KD was getting collapsed on by that Warriors defense, and they exploited the inability to play make at a consistent rate.
That was also 2016. As years have gone on,
What do
he's
you mean?
gotten
We just,
better.
we
as a-
just saw him
No,
do it.
Yes, but again, this was a different situation
Memphis
in my
did the
opinion.
same thing.
Again, you're going against arguably the best defense last season, and on top of it, the Nets players outside of Kevin Durant were mid.
You make the right
I don't
read.
think KD is as good as a playmaker. Like when we're talking about out of the pick and roll and reading and reacting and passing the ball than Chris Middleton. I think Chris Middleton is better.
Middleton
at
is
that.
underrated at that shit.
Yes, he's literally underrated.
He's
at that.
underrated at that
He
shit.
could, he
You
was
guys-
for a long time.
You guys gonna let him off the hook with Kyrie Irving being mid? You gonna let him off the
Kyrie was mid last in the playoffs. Obviously, it's Kyrie.
Oh,
it's
you know,
Kyrie.
I've been very adamant on that one. Kyrie was dog shit after game one.
Game 1, he was all
He
world.
was
2,
fantastic,
3, 4.
Game
he
one,
was
I thought it
mid.
was gonna be masterclass after masterclass.
nah.
Nah.
Not
He
Tatum.
had a show out for Boston. That's why. his
Tatum
first game-
spun off of Kyrie, and
It was over.
Kyrie's ability to play basketball was gone after that.
So OG, I want to respect your time. I know you said
Yep.
you were on a time constraint. So if
I
you
am.
want, we can do one more topic, or you can.
we can keep going. We keep
okay.
going. We can keep going. If I gotta go, I'll let you know. I gotta
Okay,
bounce.
let's get to it then. So next topic, the Indiana Pacers. They're off to a great start, 11-7, fourth in the Eastern Conference. And fun stat, 95% of teams that have won their first 12 games in the first 20 have made the playoffs.
You made
Awesome.
this. He made that statement a couple weeks ago when talking about the Wizards as one of the few teams that
Yeah.
did not.
Yeah. They were one of the few teams that did not.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
95%.
Yes.
It was at the
Yeah, that's
So
that's
the
impressive.
Jazz, the Jazz, the Pacers should make the playoffs.
No, not the Wizards. That was last year. The Pacers and the Jazz.
No, I'm talking about like this year.
Mhm.
That'd be
This
fucking
year.
hilarious if all three collapse.
Were the Cavaliers a part of that also, or did they not win enough games to start the year
The Cavaliers right now?
last
Last year.
season?
Last season, I'm not sure. I don't think
Yeah,
so. I
okay.
could be wrong,
Okay.
though. We just seen Tyrese win Eastern Conference Player of the Week
Shout out to
along
him.
with De'Aaron Fox in the Western Conference. What do you think about Indiana? Is this just a hot start because they've had an easier schedule than usual, or do you think that they are going to be a playoff team, and what is this team's trajectory if they are, in fact, are one?
Well, regardless of if it's a hot streak or not, you got to give credit to the fact that they're playing at a high level. Tyrese Halliburton. I think we all came to we all understood the ability Tyrese had as a playmaker, as an offensive creator for his team, averaging a double-double. Mathurin, I think, was the one that
That's crazy.
that popped
That-
up,
yeah.
especially coming off the bench. You don't
He
think
couldn't win Rookie of the Year in 6 minutes.
you don't think a rookie coming off the bench can do this. Like, this
20 a
is
game.
nobody's seen this.
You gonna mention Miles?
Yeah, I'm getting to
I
it.
just
Miles
think
has been
so.
good. Buddy
a lot
Hield has
of
been
Career
good.
highs in almost every
Which is,
category.
and he's still on the trade block, which is insane. But
Bring him to LA.
Indiana's been really good. I don't know. I can't definitively say they'll be a playoff team. That's such a tough thing. and I can't definitively say
Playing?
this will last. Even that, it's still maybe,
Really?
yes, maybe.
Playing, I can see in the East.
Playing, I can see them getting in, but there's a lot of tough teams right now. But I think right now, if they continue to play on this high level, they're a top 10 offensive team. They're not good defensively. I think right now they got to get that going, but I just don't think they have the pieces defensively to really be on that end. But I think Mathurin eventually he'll start, and even if he doesn't, he's been amazing. Haliburton has upped his game. He's finally getting that ability. And I think Indiana, you have to really just give them credit. You were a year, 2 years early.
No, I was a year because it was last year.
It was last year.
Bro,
you were a year early.
Actually, I was
you
thinking
believed
about
in the wrong point guard. You believed in Brogdon.
I
You should have believed in
I was
Hallie.
thinking about this while I was at the hospital today, and it really is crazy how both my agendas last season,
Yep.
if they were this year, I am looking like a savant. It really is upsetting. But you alluded to it already. Tyrese, we're talking about one of the only players. Right now, he's on track to be the only player in NBA history to average 20-10 and shoot over 40% from three. He's been amazing. You mentioned Mathurin. I want to highlight Miles Turner because I feel like he's been slighted over these last couple of years due to injury, understandably so. But career high in points, career high in rebounds per game. He leads the NBA in blocks. He's always been amazing at shot blocking. 45% from three. That's what we've known from Miles Turner, that he is a great stretch five. Shooting 55% from the field. That's also career high. Shooting a career high from the free throw line. The Pacers are playing very good basketball. You alluded to it a little bit. Have they had an easy schedule? Sort of, kind of, but they do have some big wins against the Pelicans, the Heat. Whether you think that they're a solid basketball team or not, that's still a very good win. You beat the Raptors. That's another good win. But when they went on their streak, it's against teams that are so-so. They did just beat the Nets the other night. That was a good win as well. But Halliburton, I don't know if we're getting to this topic, but this is where I have a bulk of my notes. We asked the question, is Haliburton a top 10 point guard? It's gotten to the point where I'm more comfortable with him being closer to 5 than being to 10. And now I have the list of guys. You tell me if I'm wrong. You have Curry, Luka, Ja, Trey, Dame. That's stamped. I think those are the 5. This is where we can have some discussion. Haliburton, De'Aaron Fox, Garland, it's James Harden. We have to include him in this conversation. Yes. I understand that James Harden primarily is regarded as a shooting guard, but he's more transitioned to a point guard. Drew Holiday, LaMelo at the bottom tier. If I missed a name, you let me know, but that's just what I have written down. Haliburton is closer to...
Did you say Trae Young?
Yes, I have Trey in the top 5. It's Curry, Luka, Ja, Trey, Dame. That's 5. Haliburton, De'Aaron, Garland, Harden.
Say Ja.
How about Shea?
God, I'm blanking.
If Shea is a point guard, yes, I'm fine with that. But I've always associated him with as the
He's
2.
a tweener, but
correct.
he's a point guard.
He's the one. He's the one for OKC.
All right, then you have to throw Shea in this conversation. Absolutely, 100%. And I would say yes, I would take Shea over Tyrese. But
I think him and Melo are a conversation.
Who?
LaMelo, Hallie and LaMelo.
I'm with you.
I think you can even.
Is De'Aaron Fox in this conversation for you? I know that you've been.
Right now, yes.
He has to be, which is why he's on this list. Is Haliburton closer to 5 than he is to 10? I'm saying yes.
So what do you have him right now? 7?
Right. If you're putting Shea as a point
top
guard,
6, top 5, maybe.
Shea has to be in because the 5 already, like I said already, Curry, Luka, John Morant, Trae Young, Damian Lillard.
Harden a point
That's
guard?
the 5.
I wouldn't put him as a point guard this year. Okay. And also, just because he's been injured, I'm not going to put him on here. Okay. I actually do have Tyrese Haliburton closer to 10 than I do 5. And before I get to that, I will talk about the Pacers real quick. You guys mentioned, I just think right now what we're seeing with them is they are benefiting from an easy schedule, but we see how much of an impact having a lead guard who can facilitate at the level Tyrese can impacts your team. And in the offseason, Tyrese totally rewired how he played the game. He was more so before this season a playmaker, pass first. So this offseason, the main focus for him was getting into situations and reacting more as a scorer than as a playmaker, because there would be times where he would drive to the lane and he has an open lane to get a layup, but he would make the pass instead of being aggressive. This year, he's been more aggressive in those situations, and that's something that he emphasized with his trainer in the offseason. And I just think we're seeing it with the Jazz and with the Pacers, that when you have a 5-out system, even if you don't have the most talented players, you can get great offensive results. You have the Pacers with Tyrese, Andrew Nembhard who can shoot, Buddy Hield who can shoot, Miles Turner who can shoot, Jalen Smith who can shoot. When you stretch out the floor and you open the entire floor up, it just makes it so much easier to play offense. And the Indiana Pacers have a lot of players who can shoot the ball at a consistent rate. I don't think Miles Turner continues to shoot 40+% from three.
It's a crazy number.
Yeah.
That's going to come back down to earth.
Let's see the attempts.
We'll see what happens with Mathurin. I do love Matherin's game a lot. When talking about Tyrese being a top 10 point guard, though, I made my point guard list a little bit different because I think, for one, the guard position in the NBA, you can get the better of one another on any given night. We've seen De'Aaron Fox get the better of Ja Morant the other night when they faced Memphis. It's just such a stacked position that I think these players are really close.
Absolutely.
So I made my list off of this season who I think have been the best point guards this year. Number 1 has been Steph.
Absolutely.
Third in PR. He's leading the best starting lineup in the NBA.
Absolutely.
Number 2 is Luka, 34, 9, and 8. You can't argue with that.
Nope.
Number 3 is Ja.
Correct.
And Ja and SGA were close, 3 and 4 for me. But if you look at the per 36 numbers, Ja is better than SGA. It's just SGA plays more minutes. But SGA, 31, 5, and 6 on excellent efficiency.
You don't even have to explain
He's a locked-in top 5 point guard. Now my list gets a little bit sporadic. This season,
De'Aaron, you have him as top
De'Aaron
5?
Fox has been the 5th
Better
best point
than
guard
Dame?
in the NBA.
Better than
He's been
Dame?
better than Dame this year.
Come on,
25,
dude.
5, and 6. He's shooting 75% at the rim, which is better than any guard in the NBA. He has 49 clutch points this season, the most in the NBA. And in clutch time, when you need a bucket, when you need a guy to elevate their play, Fox shoots 64% from the field and 57% from the three-point line.
Just quick. Did you say Trey Young? No, Trey Young's name yet?
No, he hasn't.
Trae Young is number 6 for me. I think Fox has been better than Trae Young this season.
Is De'Aaron Fox better than Trey Young?
He's not a better player.
Is
No,
De'Aaron
all
Fox
around.
better than Tyrese Halliburton?
He is better than Tyrese Haliburton.
That's like, but wait. So De'Aaron Fox is not a better player than Trey. He's just been playing better.
He's been playing better.
But he's better than Halliburton.
Oh, De'Aaron Fox is the better player all
Okay,
around. in my
I just want to
opinion.
make sure.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Fox was better than Trey. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I think right now De'Aaron Fox is hitting his prime. He's hitting his stride.
Do you think?
He's finally in a system that fits his style of play.
I love De'Aaron Fox.
So De'Aaron Fox has been the 5th best point guard in the league to me this season. Number 6 is Trae Young. His efficiency is just down. Once he gets that efficiency up, I have no problem putting him top 5, probably top 4. Darius Garland has been 7, 24, 2, and 8, shooting 42% from 3, and he's doing this while sharing ball handling responsibilities with Donovan Mitchell. So that tells me if he's a lead guard for the entire game, he could be putting up better numbers. Number 8 is Tyrese, only guard to average a double-double this season. Number 9 is Dame. I dropped Dame because of the injury that he had.
Fair.
And then number 10 for me is Kyrie Irving, 25, 4, and 4.
Is he a point guard?
He is a
He
point
is,
guard.
yeah, he is.
I struggle with that one, but I understand where you're coming from.
I do too. Just like I struggle.
Real quick talk about the Pacers because I feel like all of you guys kind of said the same thing. They're playing well, but it's also a very light schedule. Coming into this year, did any of us not have them as a bottom 3 seed in the East?
We had him to be fun.
We had them to be fun, but none of us even thought they were a possibility to be a playing team.
So
we could say that they had a light schedule, but if we would have before the season looked at all of their
we
teams
could
they
still be
played,
right.
they still I know, but we still would have looked at it and said, "Oh, all of these teams are better than the Pacers. All of these teams have more talent, or we think are going to be better than them." But I think the most exciting thing, if you are a Pacers fan, is you're winning, but your 2 best players are the 2 core foundational pieces with Benedict Mathurin and Tyrese. This is why you're winning. You're not winning because Buddy Hield is averaging 27 and Miles Turner is going crazy.
That's a part.
Buddy Hield, no, for sure. Both of them are key parts to why they are winning. But the 2 reasons why this team has taken a step up from last year is Tyrese, who they got, halfway through the season last year, and Benedict Mathurin, who is a top 6 pick coming off the bench now and playing par to par with Paolo, who is the number 1 overall pick. So we could say how the Pacers have had this easy schedule, but none of us at this table were expecting them to be anything close to 11-7 through a month and a half.
The teams that they've beaten,
They beat the Nets.
They beat the Pistons. I could have seen them being better than the Pistons. They beat the Wizards. I mean, before the season,
You had the
the
Wizards
Wizards
higher.
were better, yeah.
For sure.
They beat the Nets while the
Which
Nets
you
were in the
definitely had the Nets
turmoil.
high.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
beat the Nets last
Then
night.
They beat the Nets last night.
These were good wins. They beat the Heat. They beat the
Beat the Nets
Pelicans.
a few times.
Raptors.
They beat the Raptors.
These are great
This is
wins.
without
The
Pascal
win?
Siakam,
Yeah, so I
though.
was about to say the Siakam play.
And then they beat the Hornets. They beat the Rockets. They beat the Magic twice.
Hey, we sound like
And then they
haters,
just beat the Nets.
Even
I'm not
still, though,
hating.
they're beating teams that
We still
coming
would've
into the
thought
season,
they could've
yes,
lost.
that was a toss-up at best.
That was my whole thing too. I said that. I said yes. There's some easy wins, but at the same time, there's impressive wins on this win streak or
OG, talk to us, man.
winning
There are.
season so far.
Hey, man, you guys just said it all. I look at the Indiana Pacers team, and I thought that they were a play-in team. When I say a play-in team, the 10th team at best, more than anything. I didn't think that they were going to be as good as they are. Well, when I think about Haliburton and what he's brought to that unit, I mean, I'm not going to say it's not surprising, but I'm not going to say it's not warranted neither. Because, I mean, as a rookie, I mean, he played 58 games. Of those 58 games that he played, he had 18 games where he had 7 assists or more. So it was obvious that it was there, that he could distribute the basketball, right? And he was improving every year. He went from 5 to 7 to 9 to now leading the league in assists. I think that Mathurin has been the difference. I did not think Mathurin was going to be as good as he is. He's been the difference. He's been one of the better transition players in the game. He's a better one-on-one player than I thought he was going to be, and a better finisher. Add that to the fact that Miles Turner, who defensively, I expected he's doing what I expected him to do.
Correct.
I just didn't expect this team to rally around him like they've been doing. Now, when I think about the Indiana Pacers as a whole, can they keep this up? Because a guy like Chris Duarte is so inconsistent. If he could get his play to continue, I mean, he had 0 points last night. The game before that, he had 30. So we can't have a dude go 30 and then the next night go 0. Okay, and then the next night before that, he goes 9 points. So, I mean, we're talking about guys like this who, if they could get a little bit more consistent, I think we can see a lot better Indiana team than what we've already seen.
And the Pacers already have 6 games when they've been down 10 points to come back and win. So they did only done it 5 times all last year. I mean, they didn't win a ton of games last year, but 6 times to come back from 10 plus. That's, you know, you got young guys, but that's culture.
They have 11 wins. More than half of them have been when they're down double digits.
It's a young. I don't want to say the word. It's a young. Damn, I'm trying to find the substitution. Young player league. Yeah.
It is. It is a young league.
No, I was gonna say the other word.
Got it.
I believe there's 60. If I'm not mistaken, guys, I think that there's 60 guys. 60 in the 2022-23 season we're going into. I think that there's 60 guys in the entire league that are over the age of 30.
Damn,
it's over.
That's crazy.
End of an era.
Al Horford's one of them. Shout out.
I do think Tyrese is in the same tier as Darius Garland.
I'm saying, like, unfortunately,
it's not disrespectful. I have them in that same. I feel like I have Haliburton, De'Aaron Fox, Garland, LaMelo, all in that group together.
Well, that's where I'm at, because if I look at the league guards, I go Steph, I go Luka, I go Trey, I go Ja, I go Fox, I go Shea, and I go Garland. That's as far as I'm going. After that,
where Dame at?
No Haliburton?
And when I say Haliburton, I'm talking about the guys in front of him. That's as far as I'm going.
You didn't say Dame. You didn't say Dame.
I mean, Dame is, if the season ended today, he only played half the season. He missed 11 games. So I can't put him as a top tier guard right now in terms of a talent, in terms of what he's been in the past. Which, by the way, Riv, and I know you don't want to hear this, but we might have to start having a conversation. We might have to start having a conversation. Is Dame starting to break down?
Are you a Dame guy?
I am a Dame guy.
And I'm a Dame guy too, because you figure last season he missed almost half the season because of the ab injury. This year we got
he said he had that injury for like 3 years.
Yeah, and it's starting to affect him even more. Now he's got the calf injury that's kept him out. Now we're looking at almost a month. It was 2 weeks before, and now he's going to be out another 2 weeks. Are we at a line to start having a conversation that Dame is starting to break down?
I think if he has another, like, depending on how he comes back from his calf injury, if he has another one that extends him out for a little longer, then it's like, all right.
Don't rush him. You don't have to rush him. You're playing
winning basketball.
You don't have to rush him. That's why they paid Simons. Thank God.
And Simons,
all these moves are out the window if Dame isn't healthy.
No, for sure.
Josh Hart.
Simons look like a better version of CJ, don't he?
Simons is legit. He looks like a perfect counterpart.
He fits perfectly next to Dame.
Correct.
He don't need the ball. He's a heat. Like you get it.
Confident
it's going
in
up.
himself, young.
He don't do too much. It's going right up.
That's what he look like.
But I hope Dame doesn't break down.
Nah, for sure.
But he gets another injury. It's like
sad enough.
And I know we don't want to have this conversation because we've seen him for such a long time and we've seen him play at a high level. But these injuries now, here we are last season where he misses half the season, and here we are this season. He's going to miss at least a month, considering these 2 injuries are going to add up to a month, right? And he's been playing. I thought before the season started, and I'm going to get back on Indiana. I don't want to get away from what we were talking about. I had him playing himself back into the top 10 this season, and the way he started, it looked like he was going that way. But then the calf injury, and then here we go again with the calf injury. So I'm starting to think that, damn, is Dame starting to break? He's only 32 years old. I get that. But is he starting to break down? Is that happening?
I think it is.
I should have had that opinion for AD.
Well, Here's the thing about you already know about it. We already know. We already know the story.
I'm just being a prick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think with Dame, injuries are definitely catching up to him the same way that injuries are catching up to James Harden. And both guys, Dame not as much as Harden, but both guys have had to carry a tremendous load for their franchises for years on end with talent that was not enough, at least, to continuously
Did you bring up James?
make a
did you say
conference
James Harden?
finals or finals team.
I'll take it easy. Dame, we could talk
Did he
about
just say
not
James
having
Harden?
I don't know. Did he?
No, he did.
Harden had 2 years where he had that.
I was just like, he just brings
2
up Harden
years.
for everything.
2 years.
And they
Now,
ran into
Joe,
Golden
make sure
State.
we clear, Joe. Make sure we clear, Joe, that I'm not saying that Dame is over because the skill set is still there.
Yeah,
It's
he's not
obvious
over.
that it's still there.
Just
So
at that high
let's
level,
not-
James
top
Harden
10.
isn't over.
He's not
At no point am I saying that Dame is over because that skill level and him being
What
able
you
to
think?
play
Like
at that
top 10
level,
being at that level is over.
if these injuries are starting to mount up
Yeah.
and I have to start looking.
You gotta
the other-
remember the young guys keep getting better. So if the young
Yes,
guys keep
they
getting
do.
better.
Yes, they do.
That's why
Yes,
Steph's
they
still
do.
his
I'm
toes.
not saying that Dame is
No.
over, but is he starting to break down? It looks like that's happening.
But the great thing about Indiana is that this year they are the 10th youngest team in the NBA with an average age of
Beautiful.
25. They're
Yeah.
the second best fourth quarter net rating team. Last night, they came back against Brooklyn down in the fourth quarter. Mathurin had 18 of his 20 points in the fourth alone.
He's legit.
And they've made the second most passes this season. So this is an unselfish team led by Tyrese Haliburton. But there's a lot of good pieces on this roster, and they just elevated Kendall Brown. I think you have Tyrese, you have Mathurin, Chris Duarte, Jalen Smith. Miles Turner, we'll see how he fits into this mix. But the
He looks
Pacers
good.
have a lot of young
should
talent.
trade
He's
him
been
ASAP,
they've in the offseason, they talked about they wanted to keep him with him and Hallie, but he's still in the trade block. You know, they're still receiving calls. So it's like if you're gonna move him, move him.
I think it's
But I don't
just
think
an
they're
injury
getting. I don't think
concern.
they're getting offers that are good. You know what I'm saying?
No, but it's the
I want
injury
him.
concern with
I want him
Miles.
bad.
When he's on the court this year, he's been great. He had a stretch of I think 4 or 5 straight double doubles.
Yeah.
Bring me
averaging
Miles Turner.
You have
2-3
nothing
blocks.
to give.
27 first round pick in 2029.
Yep. Talk your shit. Look at you,
I'm
Delhi.
not,
Why
I'm
are
not
you
giving
such
that
a
up for Miles
prick?
Turner.
That's
I
what you
hate
have
you.
to offer.
I really could beat
Is that
the hell
not
out
your
of you
best
right
deal
now.
at 2027,
Deal stinks.
2029 first? Do you even want to give up Russ now? Let's be honest. Hell no.
Probably does.
So on to the last topic of the show. We're going to be reading tweets that fans sent in. We have 7 tweets here. Now, the first tweet is from A-Train Big Dog. The Clippers can't stay healthy. Warriors' non-Curry minutes are all-time bad. The Mavs have no secondary creator to help Luka. The Grizzlies can't get all their guys on the court at once. CP3 looks to be in a decline. When Denver gets Jamal MPJ integrated, they should be favored in the West,
What did this
right?
guy do?
I think he cooked every
He just
team.
dropped
not named
like
Denver.
9 facts in one tweet, but my God.
Almost everything he said was
Was
facts.
he feels like Denver should be favored in the West,
The
right?
only one I don't love is Memphis. I feel like it's still early in the season to feel that way, and these guys are still super young. Bane had an ankle sprain.
Denver could be the favorites.
Oh no, Denver, I'm fine with also.
We had him coming in. We had him. I
It's
think we all
top
had him
3
at that
seed.
I
tier
had them
1
as
team.
I had them as the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I had them.
We had him as a tier 1
I
team.
had the
so-
number 2.
Yeah.
You had Minnesota 1.
I wasn't gonna throw that in. I just wanted to highlight
Oh
myself.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the Warriors one.
I had them too, and
I
it's
didn't-
still possible.
I don't remember.
Bro.
No,
look-
I know, but it's
They're-
just they're the 11 seed. I know they're like 3 games back.
that's what I'm saying.
It's just funny looking
We'll
at the
get there.
standings.
I'm gonna lead you guys to it. I got to bounce.
Okay.
Good, OG, perfect.
No doubt.
I'm gonna lead you guys to it. This was awesome. Like I told you before, you know where to find me. I don't really answer the phone a lot, but when these guys call, I answer the phone.
Sir.
So you guys know where to find me. But I gotta bounce.
Appreciate
It's
you,
good
OG.
to see
Sure. Thank you, OG.
you guys. Take it light, guys.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Take a light, but what's his saying?
Take it light, but take it.
Now, on to the second tweet.
That's actually nuts.
That's insane.
Do
I saw
you
the wire.
think the Bulls have a chance of making the playoffs? At Mevy Bear tweeted
play
this
in
to
or
us.
playoffs?
Playoffs.
Well, I mean,
Gotta get in the play-in.
I'm
first, I
assuming.
guess.
I'm assuming by this statement he means
It's a
they make
shame.
the. I apologize. Really?
Yeah.
All right.
What'd you
Thanks for
say?
being
Yeah.
inclusive.
Huh?
No,
it's a she, really?
It's a she.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is.
What's
I
her,
thought you said after
what's her
shit.
handle?
At Mevy Bear.
I know her. I think. Is she a Toronto fan?
No,
I think
that's
she's a Bulls fan.
no, that's
Nice.
Mel Gill, right?
That's what I
Something
was
like
thinking
that.
of.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to her. Good God, I don't even know. How to
This is what I'm
answer.
assuming. That she believes that they have a chance at the play-in, but in the play-in they make the playoffs.
I mean, you know, this team is
I'm gonna say
hilarious
no.
because one day we'll beat the Bucks, and I'm just like, then we'll go beat Boston, and it's like, yeah, and then we lose to Orlando.
Well, listen, the easy answer is no.
Under.
I mean, we
Yeah,
know
shit
the Bulls are missing the playoffs this year.
They're just inconsistent.
Probably
bro.
missing a play-in, most likely. I mean,
your
look,
offenses.
What
We
if
just
Lonzo comes
know-
back and changes everything?
I'm praying
Yes.
to God.
But yeah.
we
We're so
just know the
inconsistent, I don't
Bulls
know.
aren't that good. We know that, right?
No, we're
I think
actually
we know
good.
The Bulls,
We
the
like
Bulls
we're
offensively
good
is
against
just
when
tough.
we played top-notch teams this year.
Zach,
we're good.
Zach has taken a step back, obviously. DeMar has.
He's still
DeMar's
him.
still good, but
Yeah.
last year he was just historic. So when he comes
Well, I mean,
down from
he's-
being
DeMar's
historic
still
to being
been crazy.
good.
He
I
went
know,
down like a
but-
point.
I know, but even still, last year, I mean, how many fucking game-winning shots was he hitting? He was breaking Wilt records. Like, he's still been really good this year, but when you take away some of those outlier, type of stretches last year, your offense comes down. And Lonzo, of course, too.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you if I don't know.
Now, the
We can make
third
the plan.
tweet-
I think we'll make the plan.
The
I think so,
third
too.
tweet is from @Isaiah_Cruz1. 3 early predictions for buyers and sellers at the trade deadline.
The Warriors have to be a buyer. They need a bench piece.
LOL.
I'll put in the Mavericks as a buyer. I think they should be a buyer at the trade deadline.
Dude, Lakers are a couple
Lakers,
pieces
you're
away.
a buyer all year.
We're a couple pieces away.
I guess the Warriors, Utah are sellers.
Sellers for
Yeah.
I
sure.
think Indiana will be
Spurs.
sellers.
Spurs are
What do they have to sell?
Got them.
Yeah. I want them to keep them. Yeah,
I think
So
the
do
Cavs
I.
will be buyers.
Cavs should be
Yeah,
buyers.
another wing.
I think even Boston might a little bit be buyers for another big.
Another
Phoenix.
The Suns will be buyers.
well said.
Sellers also. Jay Crowder. There's a lot of teams. Lakers are buyers in life. They just need everything.
Dude,
I
if
think
the-
Rockets are sellers
If
too.
the
last
Heat,
championship?
continue to
Last
struggle,
year.
Unbelievable.
if the Heat continue to struggle, do you think they still keep this core together?
I do.
Not obviously Jimmy Butler.
That was so
fan, but-
clean.
Yeah. We'll get to that. I think that's one of the tweets that we have here too.
okay.
The Rockets are sellers in my opinion too. Gordon,
Gordon.
go put Gordon somewhere else,
Yeah,
man.
to Eric Gordon. Yeah, I don't think there's many teams that are fire
Hornets?
selling in
Gordon
the
Hayward's
NBA.
fire.
I don't think
outside of
yeah.
maybe Utah, maybe. I think the Nets could put themselves in that position if they don't play better and
So
they're
buy
just
or sell?
like sell.
Okay.
Like, oh, we just gotta blow this team up. I think they could be.
You
huge
think
sellers at the
Washington becomes
deadline.
sellers for Denny?
Interesting.
I think
or
they
Rui?
probably keep him. I would say the Bulls are not far from being sellers.
The Hornets?
That's a good team.
Trading.
I mean,
Vucevic.
Gordon-
Funny, you know
Gordon
what's
Hayward
funny
just
about the
got hurt.
Bulls?
That
We
was-
actually have a lot to sell to get back into a rebuild. Like I think if we rebuild, it'll be pretty cool. Honestly, we got a lot of dudes we can
Is
sell.
anyone? Would you trade? Is anyone untouchable? Like you keeping DeMar, you keeping Zach? Or is everyone's on the table?
Everybody outside Alonzo can fucking go. Oh wait, Io, keep him. Got to keep Io. Lonzo could stay.
You're
You
real
keep
for being
you
real.
keeping Lonzo,
yeah, you keep Lonzo.
even with this knee.
he's not gonna have a market with his injury.
Okay.
So you keep
That's
him.
fair, that's
Keep
fair.
You
Lonzo.
won't
Io.
get what he's actually worth when he's
Yeah,
healthy.
so it's like everybody else though. You can get a lot for
Vucevic,
Zach.
you trade Kobe White.
Even Vooch, you just let him walk. Kobe.
I wouldn't let him walk. I want something back from him.
Well, I mean, I'm saying if you can't get anything at the deadline, you just let him walk. You just get your money back. Zach, you can get a lot for Zach. DeMar, you probably get one first rounder.
No.
Alex, you can get a lot for Caruso. You get a lot for some
You
guys.
can
They
get
just
more
won
than
a
a
first
first.
for
He's
DeMar.
34,
That's old.
and his contract is big. It's not big, but it's big.
Yeah, you have to match the contract too, which is tough.
Caruso, you can get a lot. You get some things for Caruso. Patrick Will, you can get some things. I think we'll be if we sell, rebuild will be cool.
How about you guys just give us back Caruso?
No, you have nothing.
I
I don't
give
want
you a
that
hug.
stupid ass 2027 pick. I don't.
You don't
Like,
want a hug?
No, I don't even know who's in the 2027 class. I don't want that
They're
shit.
like fucking sophomores.
Yeah,
in high
like,
school.
I'm not looking at them. I want if we sell right now, I will be all in. I promise you.
The next tweet is from
I want the twins.
Ruthless Rootster.
Rudy.
The shout out to him.
Shout out to the dive in deepy.
The importance of coaching is really showing in Sacramento. What is this team ceiling, not just this season, but moving forward with this group of players?
What's the team?
I think they could go
Wait,
on
who's
some
the team.
the Kings.
Oh, I didn't hear the King
Yeah.
part.
I mean,
What's their? They're in a weird spot, are they not?
they are
Because like how the ceiling, I still think they need another guy to
they
be
do.
like a consistent
I
like.
feel like they need another like superstar level.
or
If
maybe
they
not
really
super,
want
another
to,
all-star
I guess
guy,
depends
you
on
know?
what the ceiling we
Trade
want to
for
talk
Kevin
about.
Durant.
Their ceiling's a first round exit.
You know what they had to give
I-
up for
I
Kevin
do
Durant,
agree.
bro?
The ceiling's a first round exit.
This year with this group, I think first round exit, and that's a huge win for the
First
Kings.
round exit, but a very tough series.
Yes.
The Kings will give a fight.
And that's with all due respect to the Kings and what they've done so far.
Well, I
this
mean,
season.
they got the coach.
There's just better teams.
So they got the coach. Where do they go from here? They got the
Because they have
role
a
players.
lot of really good pieces, and
It's
you have
defensive
Fox.
pieces. That's what they need.
Yeah,
That's what they
Do they
need.
have cap next year? I don't think they have a lot. Maybe like 20 mil, 25.
I'll let you know.
And
Right
who
They
now.
got some
who
big
are they-
contracts. Sabonis has a good contract.
yeah.
Fox has 30 mil. Herter has
Herter's-
got some bag. Barnes, I think he's up.
Facts.
Davion Mitchell, you got to pay him eventually. Keegan
I
Murray's a
mean,
good
Davion's-
one. Yeah,
Davion's
like
not
they're in a
demanding
weird good spot though.
Oh, they got money.
How much they got? There's no
Is this
free
a big
agents
class?
next year.
Yeah, that's what I was about
It's
to
just
ask.
Harden
I
and
mean,
Kyrie and
the
the role
Middleton.
players.
The only people they're
It'll
paying,
take 2 years from now.
bro.
I would
The
love
only
Middleton.
people they're paying top dollar really
It's Fox and Sabonis.
is
And not
De'Aaron,
even
and Sabonis doesn't even count. He's making 18.5.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought he was
Sabonis
making
doesn't
like
have a huge
22.
contract.
Nice. And they got some things they could do.
Now it's a matter
Isn't
of
Herter making
convincing
18?
people to
So
go to
the
Sacramento.
guaranteed money remaining, De'Aaron has 134 million on his contract left. Sabonis has 38 million left on his
So he
contract.
has to get paid
years.
in like a year or two.
Yeah.
Kevin Porter just got paid 65 mil, but you're looking at that contract and you're thinking,
Over
the
how
good
many
Lord.
years?
That's a
that
great.
four?
That's a
Good, yeah,
great
yeah.
value.
He's getting
for
14 a
Herter.
year essentially.
Yeah, 4 years then.
That's
That's
great
crazy.
for Herter.
4
Great deal.
less than
Yeah.
Sabonis. Wow. Okay.
That's
That's
and
three.
that's it. That's
3
the
years.
that's the money that. And
Well, Barnes is up. I know Barnes is
I was
up.
about to say Barnes.
Wait,
You're
isn't
not
Holmes,
giving Barnes
Holmes
a
is
bag.
still on the deal on the contract for like 2 more years?
Rashawn is he's getting paid 36 million
Ugh,
on
curse.
11.
He doesn't
mil a
play.
year.
Remember when you?
That was me.
Dude, yeah,
No,
Drew
I-
is definitely the
remember when
Rashawn
you-
Holmes.
I
said-
liked Rashawn. I thought it was a competition
Allen.
between him and Jared Allen.
Wow.
I w-
Hell,
At the time, it was close.
it wasn't.
Shut
you
up.
just were bugging. No,
No,
you
I
were
wasn't.
literally were just bugging.
Yeah, Rashawn
That was
Holmes
during your
really good.
legendary summer where you was like Lakers 65 wins. Like you were on a
Legendary
legendary
summer's
tour right
hilarious.
there. Like you were just bugging.
If that was this year, man. Besides the Lakers, of course.
You're
It would
off.
have been good.
You're off.
It would have been good.
Legendary
Next tweet
tour
is
right
from at
It
Draymond
blessed the
Stan
show,
1.
so that's all I'm gonna
here. Them
say.
Drake numbers.
Who are you taking for the future, Haliburton or Darius Garland?
I'm taking Garland.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I know.
You know,
take the more athletic guy.
Halliburton's more athletic.
Shifty, quick,
There you go.
which
That's
also
a
has to
good
do
question.
with athleticism.
Not
It really is.
Shifty?
It is. They're in the same tier.
Yeah.
Who?
Garland and Holly.
Haliburton and Garland.
They are. The way Halliburton's playing this year, he's leveled up. Garland has stayed the same.
No, he didn't. He's adjusting.
That's fair. But I'm saying,
He's
production-wise.
playing better than he did last year, Garland.
Technically. Yeah.
Yeah, but Halliburton has taken a step.
Yeah, and that step is now like close to Garland.
I agree.
Same, but-
I know, but
think,
Garland
uh,
hasn't taken a step.
Bias off slightly Garland. I would lean slightly
Yes,
Garland.
it is-
I like
it's
his
close.
bag of tricks. better.
Very
That's
close.
fair.
I would go with Garland as well. This is from at Joe Mo 11. If AD keeps up this level of dominance, what is the Lakers' ceiling as currently constructed?
Still dog shit, but
No,
I would say
our
playing.
ceiling's the playing.
Playing.
Yeah, maybe.
It's
Playing.
been.
playing.
It's been.
I mean, if it's playing,
Didn't
anything
you have you
can-
guys in like a sneaky contender tier?
he did.
and I'm
Yeah.
going to continue with that.
Oh,
You think I give a
okay.
flying fuck?
But you just said your ceiling has always been
That
to
is
play.
no to the general consensus. That's not me.
Oh, okay. Well, then you should answer to you
Well,
what your ceiling is.
we know what it is. So what I have to repeat?
We
it's a
know.
fucking Baja, baby.
Okay.
Don't
Chip.
play with us.
So it's actually 8 tweets. The next tweet is from Uptown Squirrel. I feel that if Curry wins another ring, he surpasses Kobe all time.
I, being a very avid Curry stan, cannot stand for that. No, Kobe
It's
is
not nuts.
I think it is.
No,
I think it is.
no.
I can't put Curry over Kobe. He needs a lot more than.
Now let me ask you: is Magic over Kobe in your opinion?
Yes, Magic is top 5
And
player
Magic
ever to me.
and Magic and Curry aren't in conversation if he
No.
wins one more.
I don't.
Jesus.
Where do you have Curry right now?
10 or 11.
And
I have,
Kobe.
I have Magic at 4,
And Kobe
Yeah.
at what, like 6?
7 or 8.
Magic deserves to be that high.
11, 7, 8. A chip doesn't do it with everything else Curry has.
Curry has no All NBA defensive teams. Kobe
Hey.
has 10 plus.
Kobe has
Curry-
30,000 points.
Curry changed the game of basketball.
I agree. Kobe's the basket. He is.
I know.
Basketball.
Listen,
Kobe
I-
is
yeah.
is the only thing close to Michael Jordan, who's the best player of all time.
I don't think a ring would do it. He needs Curry. The sad, not the sad part. Curry's peak started a little after,
That's true.
and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I'm saying? Like,
His peak did start later than you.
yeah, later than
him.
you want. And even then, Kobe has longevity. I just think people like I have Kobe in my top 7.
But it's not
top
like the
8.
longevity for Kobe back half of the career. Steps up with
You
Curry's
have,
back half
you
of
have
his
Duncan
career.
over Kobe, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. But I think Magic and Curry is a significant.
'Cause
But
Curry's
you also
prime-
have Will Chamberlain out of your top 10.
I have Will
That's-
Chamberlain
yeah,
right
that's
after Steph. I have Wilton. I have Bill in because he has 11 rings. You can't knock that.
Oh my
But I don't have Wilt in my top 10. He's right at 11. That's respect.
No.
But yeah, Kobe, nah. Kobe, nah. I have Kobe over Bird.
It's a conversation.
I don't even think if Curry gets a ring, I don't even think he passes Bird. And I have Kobe over Bird.
Kobe over Bird, strong.
This is the
Kobe's
last
him.
tweet from at
Dude,
Napping Tay.
I feel like you said this is the last tweet, like the last 3 in a row. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
He probably did.
I did it. I really didn't. This last tweet. Miami should sell high on Bam, Jimmy, and the role players. They have no future now, and with this draft class, they need to blow it up and get back as many picks as possible.
Y'all-
so
Imagine what Spo could turn the Thompson twins or Drake Whitehead into.
Listen,
You're in?
I love the Thompson twins. But why would you trade Bam? He's 24.
Yeah.
And his contract isn't that bad.
I don't
saw
think
they
the
were
Heat
on
need to
my
blow
ass.
it up.
They just need to get healthy.
The Heat right now could keep the same roster and still not make the playoffs and get a lottery pick. They could do that.
They
Yeah,
do
but
have their
you're-
pick.
Yeah.
But how long are you going to wait for that lottery pick to blossom? Jimmy's 33?
I think it's better to have
Kyle
that.
Lowry's-
I think it's better to have that lottery pick learn under the players they have.
That's
than
fair.
And Lowry
just
hasn't,
totally
they could
tear it
develop
up.
Lowry
anybody.
hasn't
Lowry's
been
been okay.
bad.
Yeah, he's been good.
I mean, if they get a Thompson twin, Liddy, but
I mean, their young core right now is Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero,
which is
what
fine.
it is.
That's okay. Like it ain't nothing. And Jovic,
Jovic.
he's
is
all right
playing
when he
well.
plays. He's all right. Like it ain't bad. Like I don't think that Miami. We're gonna talk about them, but I don't think they should blow it up. I don't think it's that time right now. They can wait a little bit, especially when the contracts aren't that bad. Harrow just got his bag. Bam is like in year 2 of his
Duncan
bag.
Robinson's bag. Is,
Duncan Robinson bag.
Yeah.
That's the one they need
That's
to
the
go.
bad
But
one.
Jimmy's fine. He's still putting up his regular season numbers. He's just in the playoffs, Jimmy's gonna
Gonna
be
turn
ready
up,
to play.
If
So
they make it, yeah.
yeah.
That's-
I
yeah,
mean,
if
all
he
you need
doesn't,
Jimmy for
can't
is
turn
one
up.
playing. You get him.
Knicks are making it, baby.
You guys are fucking horrible.
Now I'm playing. We're not making it.
I mean, if you don't make it,
I
that
try to
means we
catch a
make
vibe with you, and you do that.
We're gonna be a playing team.
it. No, you're not.
The Bulls aren't though.
We'll be better than you.
Okay, we'll see.
get in. It's
You won't be
early.
be- You won't
You
be
guys,
better
Why
than
do you
the
guys
Wizards.
catch-
within like a game or two of each other?
He catches victory laps early and then he takes L's in April.
Oh, I know.
That's all that matters.
You don't have somebody better than Kyle Kuzma on your team.
We do.
Respect.
His
him.
name is DeMar.
Jalen Brunson is
clear.
like that.
It's
though.
clearly
One
DeMar.
game
Jalen Brunson is
and I
like
would
that.
still
Though.
take Levine. I don't care how bad he's been. I swear I don't.
Over,
I take Jalen Brunson over
How
him.
cool.
over Brunson? Oh.
Jalen Brunson's been one of the better finishers in the
Brunson's
league. I
been
told y'all
solid
he was
as
a
hell.
star.
He has been solid as hell.
Love
It's a shame
Brunson.
he didn't stay in.
You have not beaten one good team this year. Yes, I can say that now. You have not beaten
And
one
you
good
guys
team.
don't
We've
beat the
beaten
bad
5.
teams.
It's fine. It'll eventually stack
I
up.
mean, they beat the
Last
fucking
year,
Celtics
what
and
was the
Bulls.
issue?
Yeah,
I
it'll
mean, the
stack up.
Celtics
What was,
and
no,
Bucks.
last year was the
Twice.
issue.
Yeah.
Respect that.
You couldn't beat a top 16
Yeah.
to save your life.
Now
stops
the,
it.
The bad ones are gonna catch up, bro.
Wait
We're
till
gonna start
Lonzo
winning
comes
those.
back,
We
bro.
do.
The energy's
Yeah.
gonna
We
shift.
do, yeah.
I'm dead ass. Wait till Zoe comes back.
I
Energy's
can't-
shifting.
Okay, you need to stop saying that because we don't know when he's coming back.
I
We don't have a clue. That's
Stop-
you
stop-
seem very
Please stop
confident
saying
that.
It could be next year. We don't know when he's coming back.
Manifest.
Listen, bro, I've been manifesting for like a year, bro. I don't know when he's coming back, bro. We're just hoping he
That
gets healthy.
backcourt, Caruso and Zoe, arguably the best
Yeah,
defensive
how does it
backcourt
feel
in
to
the
know
league.
Cam Reddish is your best defender?
Good. He's a good defender.
He's great.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
RJ Barrett stinks.
I know. I said it.
I
Last
know.
show.
But you were so high on him.
I guess.
L. You told us one day that when you hit, you hit. But my God, when you miss, woo, you miss.
I'm a
Oh,
home
I
run
feel
hitter.
that, so. I feel that.
you're like
I mean, and I actually, it's
give
funny.
me an analogy for this baseball. He's like somebody who when he
Home
hits
run or
home run, but
strikeout,
when he
Rizzo.
Dave
misses,
Kingman.
whoever the fuck that is, you're Dave Kingman.
Or no, Gallo. Sorry.
I
not
mean,
Gallo.
Dave
Gallo.
Kingman,
and the
actually,
King-
for the ball knowers, that's actually a
I don't know who
mwah.
the fuck Dave
when we
Kingman
had
is.
the King segment about the play, being them being a playing team,
You aced that.
I said in the beginning of,
Michael's not 80 or
of
90.
that segment,
Okay.
I project teams great,
You're a freak.
and when I hit. And Sacramento was that team for me this season.
Minnesota was an L.
Doesn't count.
Why you?
Last season,
what? Wait, what?
How
Why
does
does
it not?
Minnesota
You
count?
put him
You
at
understand
one,
what
and then
seed?
you dissed us because
Yeah,
we put him at
you
3.
called us.
That's
you
when I
called
close
us
the laptop.
fucking
Disconnect,
casuals.
please.
Called us casuals for not having them one.
So then last
said it doesn't
season, the
count.
team I had was Minnesota surprise team. Then the season before that was the Phoenix Suns. So I've hit on my teams each year.
but
You
also
just missed on Minnesota. Like, you
Minnesota's-
literally just
and the
missed.
Nets.
You
They're
did
your
miss on
two.
the Nets.
Yeah, those
I
were your
missed on the
two.
Nets.
Those were your two biggest agendas in each conference, and they both are complete flops so far.
You think so?
You actually,
yes.
yeah, that's a fact.
And it was specifically Nets over Celtics,
And you missed
which
on
makes
Philly.
it worse.
Hey, listen. If you guys want to
And you
hate,
said
guys
that.
hate.
And you said that.
you said last
JB
year
and JT
no.
weren't a top 5 duo.
And you also said last
didn't
year.
say that.
You said
That's not
last
it.
year when
No,
Harden.
I
got,
said not a top 5 star. Oh no, I had them like 5th in starting lineup.
you said last year when
Not
Harden got
duo.
traded that Philly was winning.
Can
a
y'all
chip.
show me this footage? Because y'all be lying.
I have to find it, but you had them low as fuck. I'm pretty sure that was the Through the Wire episode.
It was probably the 3rd best duo, bro. It was
I-
probably
No, it was
Harden
actually
and-
low.
no. Starting lineups, they weren't top 5.
It was Harden and no, I had
They're
them.
starting. No, you didn't.
Okay, they might have been outside the top 5, but in terms of duos, maybe I had Harden and Embiid over them.
You definitely
and
had
Middleton
Durant and Kyrie.
Giannis.
You
And
definitely had
did.
Durant and Kyrie.
And you had Giannis and Middleton.
so
So
4
maybe those
probably.
4, you know.
That's embarrassing.
It's not.
You probably
embarrassing.
put
embarrassing.
Steph and Dre over.
There's
No,
a good
didn't.
chance.
I believe. I 100% believe that.
I know
I
Katie
don't
and
believe
Kyrie
it.
for a fact or above. For a
I
fact.
mean, even if that's true, this is not a bad take. The Curry
no, it's a
and
dog
that
shit
duo
take.
beat the
Oh no,
Celtics.
Curry, fine, whatever. I'm saying Kyrie and Katie.
Respect, Dubs,
Like,
respect,
I'm-
respect.
He's an honorable
Stop
guy.
playing, man.
I am.
Stop playing.
Listen, I love you, but I
Oh,
have to
somebody
tell you when
asked
you're
us
wrong.
Messi over 0.5. He scored.
He did.
He's him.
Who's Argentina playing?
I don't
They play
I don't
playing,
watch the
like-
World Cup.
So
It'd be
that's
like
going to
8 in the
do
morning.
it for this episode of the Pick a Side Podcast, episode 232. You can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you for watching and or listening.
Shout out
And
to our
we'll
boy
see you.
OG. Shout out to our
Shout
boy
out
OG.
OG.
Absolutely. Thank you
Got
very
to
much.
do a round of
OG.
applause.
You're
There
a
we go.
legend. Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time.